And now on Who's Views, it's time to join JT, Paul, and Third Doctor Ian for the latest headlines.
Hello, Who viewers. Welcome back to Who's Views on Friday, the 23rd of May, 2025. This is, of course, your big headline show. How are you? What a day. You know, the thing about Doctor Who in the 21st century is it's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Because we've always got something to talk about it. And today has been another one of those days, hasn't it? Because have you heard? Yes, of course you've heard. The media is really taking Doctor Who to task today. And as a Doctor Who fan, I have to say, what an embarrassment that is. We're going to be looking at that front page news that hit last night into this morning. And it's been gathering and gathering and gathering momentum all day. We're going to be looking at that very, very shortly in this ongoing game of is it axed or is it not axed? Is he fired or is he not fired? The toing and throwing. I'm getting dizzy. I don't know about all of you, but it's good to see you. Welcome to Headlines tonight. Oh, come on. We've got lots to talk about, so let's bring them both on. We've got Third Doctor Ian, we've got Paul with us. What a day it's been.
Hello.
What a day indeed. Hello.
Honestly, backwards and forwards with this story. But this is something we've been talking about on this show for quite a while now, guys, isn't it? Because back in April, if you haven't seen it, we actually did a particular show here on Headlines, which was basically Gatwa's gone, question mark, because he more or less said on the BBC, on BBC Radio 1, that he had gone because he'd been gifted a sonic screwdriver.
It's just a matter of which tense you use, isn't it? For a time travel show, it's quite appropriate, isn't it? He's gone, definitely. Past tense, yeah.
Well, listen.
Can they sack somebody that's actually already gone? Or was he sacked and that's why he went and they've just announced the sacking or leaked it or whatever? Or is it just a big face-saving thing for RTD? You know, you don't know, do you?
No, but not only do I find it terribly embarrassing for our poor show, I don't actually really genuinely care about this reiteration. You know what I mean? I don't care about RTD. I don't care about Ncuti Gatwa because I don't like either of them. As usual, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch this week. Really, really appreciated as ever. I have started getting back to everybody, believe it or not, but you can get in touch at whosviews1@gmail.com. whosviews1@gmail.com. Please, as ever, give me a little bit of time to get back in touch with you, but I will eventually. Could be next year. I don't know, but I will get there eventually. But thank you to Davy Boy 1252, to Mark Jones, to Michael Gorman, to Julia Baratta, the Nate Channel, to Rodney Strickler, Matt Worrell, Rocky Zero, Theodore Benton, RRL Music, Bryden72, Mike RW3819, to Dot Martin 688, to Will Hadcroft, Mega the Extremist, Michelle Hanley, Crimpeline Doubloon, I Love to Be, Daz Blue 5515, Bill Lowry, Marie 0030, to Sharda Knox, and get well soon to the core of sci-fi and fantasy, who has been poorly over the last couple of weeks. So hope you're feeling better, sir, and get well soon. All right. Let's get into it straight away then, everybody, because yes, this has been the big talking point across all elements of Doctor Who fandom today, and also in the media, because last night on their social media pages, The Sun started the story and it greeted the British public on the front page of the newspaper today. This was the front page news for The Sun. Nothing else mattered to The Sun today apart from this headline: Doctor Who exterminated. BBC bin star Ncuti after Eurovision row. A front page, guys, for this one. You know,
massive,
that's what gets it.
It's funny how times have changed, and they tried to save Doctor Who a few years ago.
Yeah.
You could get a badge, couldn't you? You could get a little
badge,
enamel badge.
We saved Doctor Who, yeah.
The Sun, the Star, the Mirror, the Orb, and then they quickly forgot about it in 1989. But anyway, but this has gone from being in the Sun. Some of the other newspapers picked it up. some using very choice words, guys, as well. I'm going to quote this. Ncuti's depressing tenure. Yeah, that was one word. The word woke was used an awful lot, which I personally think is an overused, meaningless word now, just like any phobist exclamation. It doesn't mean much now. And of course, it transferred over to the alternative media that the BBC doesn't approve of. You know, TV and stuff like that all picked it up today. And they weren't very impressed with the new series of Doctor Who or its star either. But let's have a look. For those of you that don't know, let's have a look at what The Sun said. This was the headline. Exterminated, said Rod McPhee, the TV editor. Doctor Who's wokest ever lead star Ncuti Gatwa axed after just 2 series, with the show to be paused after ratings nosedive. Insiders believe a streaming giant which has pumped in millions will not renew its deal. So we all know who that is. He continued. Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa has been axed by the BBC after 2 series. Woke storylines have seen ratings plummet. The actor is off after 2 series with no replacement likely for the Time Lord regeneration on May the 31st. Fans have turned off amid plots about incels and characters such as non-binary aliens. The news comes after Ncuti 31 backed out of announcing the UK's jury scores in last weekend's Eurovision Song Contest amid controversy among some at Israel's inclusion. A TV insider said if the final nail wasn't already in the coffin, it was well and truly hammered in after that. Bosses were incredibly disappointed. Ncuti, as the Doctor, is one of the corporation's most high-profile faces. His withdrawal was incredibly embarrassing. It caps what has been a largely depressing tenure in the TARDIS for Ncuti. Execs are likely to rest the 62-year-old show to consider who might revive its fortunes. Insiders believe that Disney Plus, which has pumped in millions, will not renew its deal. One said it's unlikely we will see who Ncuti regenerates into, as the Beeb will keep options open. And if they do rest the show for years, it makes it virtually impossible to cast someone now. Ncuti, who appeared with Millie Gibson as the Doctor's companion Ruby Sunday and returning showrunner RTD, were announced with high expectations in 2022. But viewing figures fell to 1.6 million, down on 10 million when Tennant and Smith were the Time Lord. One episode saw Ncuti's Doctor admit he was gay. Villain Maestro, drag queen Jinx Monsoon, was among the flops. The BBC said last night, as we have previously stated, the decision on season 3 will be made after season 2 airs, and any other claims are just pure speculation. The deal with Disney Plus was for 26 episodes, and we still have an entire spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, to air. And as for the rest, we never comment on the Doctor and future storylines. Rod McPhee then goes on to say, demise is a disgrace. Now, this guy's obviously a fan. We've said this before about Rod. Doctor Who's demise is a national scandal. It is part of the fabric of British culture, once the envy of the world. The rot set in when the BBC handed it back to RTD, who masterminded the 2005 reboot. Rather than reverse the wokery and go back to basics, he went for broke and wrecked it. What an embarrassment that at one stage this BBC series had just over 1.5 million watching a world-famous show in a primetime Saturday slot. Aside from the woke stories, did they think fans wanted to see a Time Lord strutting around in skirts and skimpy vests, dissolving into tears at every turn? Icing the show might be the best way to salvage the memory of its good old days. Perhaps the next custodians will treat it with the respect it deserves. So that's an opinion piece from Rod, but it's not dissimilar to all of ours, is it, everybody?
No.
That's
I always love the TV Insider quote, so that's always very funny, isn't it? Who is this mysterious TV Insider? I wonder. Yeah. We all have contacts, you know. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I know the janitor that works at BBC Wales. That's my contact. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. What did you say there, Ian?
No, that was brutal. I mean, it was accurate. It was completely accurate, but it was brutal. But it's what needs to be said. I'm just surprised it's taken so long. But you know, it's let's be honest. It's shows like this that hadn't bent the knee and kissed RTD's backside that's been shouting this from the rooftops from a lot sooner than now.
Well, a few weeks ago we reported, of course, that the Mirror was claiming that it had been renewed. Remember? So this is talking. This is what I mean about. It's like bat and ball, isn't it? It's back and forth all the time with this. They're really covering their bases, but again, it's taking things out of slight context. I think because we know that BBC Studios are desperate to keep Doctor Who going in one form or another. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be next year.
No, it doesn't. No.
It could be any time. But when you're getting Who viewers front page news like this, front page of everything else that's going on in our country right now. This story about Doctor Who hit the front page of a tabloid, which then the others will pick up, and it's going to be there. Can you imagine what it must be like now to be RTD, Ncuti Gatwa's people, his agents, etc.? They must be horrified right now, and this guy's trying to really.
Well, he's not bothered. He's too busy enjoying the fact he's got a Barbie doll. That's what he's excited about, isn't he?
Well, we'll come to that a bit later on. John Paul Barrett is saying to us, true Doctor Who died in 2017, RIP. John Roberts is saying RTD has thrown Gatwa under the bus. It was his fault, not mine. That could be an awful lot there. Marine Boy is saying, "Whoa, the drinks are on me. Who takes sugar?" And hello to Ron.
I use honey.
Oh.
I thought we were using Gatwa's terms. You see, sugar, honey,
sugar. I can't stand all that nonsense, you all know. Ron Dejerges, nice to see you. So now we can get back to Real Who. Well, we've still got 2 episodes of this nonsense to get back, and we've got to, I know what you mean. Sheila B is saying we must be a quiet news day. Not really. Honestly, Sheila B, in the devotions, there was lots going on. We've just sold a whole load of our islands for nothing, basically. And David Shore is saying, so this is the final season. No more Doctor Who. It's over. It's never going to be. It's going to be far from being all over. I can assure you. It just depends on when. Joey is with us. Hello, Joey. Good to see you. And John Booth is saying to us, I want the BBC to sack RTD. The man has ruined Doctor Who with his mate Chibnall. No argument from any of us.
No.
No. This is the only front page the last 2 series have got, John Roberts is saying. Yeah, I mean, it's always negativity, isn't it, really? You know? And again, it's just got too much now.
I'd be surprised, wouldn't you, though, if he was fired in this context over Eurovision. I question that in the article, I have to say.
I'm listen, as I said the other night, anything can happen in this show now. Anything can happen, not just within the show, but out with the show in the behind the scenes. And these people, I mean, you know where they stand politically, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was very strange timing, wasn't it? I don't know.
It's possible they could have fired him over the Eurovision episode where it was so crap. That's why they fired him. Maybe that's why. Yeah.
I mean, it's odd timing, isn't it? Because we know when these episodes were filmed, and it was a long time ago. So the Eurovision thing and his backing out was only last week. Yeah. So they can't have sacked him from Doctor Who from that, because as we've said before, he's out of contract. Bad Wolf is closed down in darkness, and they're not filming anything. So if he's out of contract, can you sack somebody that you've not got under contract? Yeah. But on the whole, it's been a very bad week for the BBC, hasn't it? Because they've had this, and they've had Lineker, who stood down because of his anti-Semitic comment, which was far worse, in my opinion, than what's seen Mother in jail for 31 years.
Totally.
But he just said sorry, and everything's forgotten, because he's a raving lefty psychopath, in my opinion. Yeah. And
he went, didn't he? He went in before he was pushed.
Yeah, but it's 2 cases for the BBC in 1 week, both over or circulating around the theme of anti-Semitism. It's not a good look.
It's not at all. And I don't think personally that the BBC actually cares. And as we know, these people involved with our beloved show now are alleged progressives. They're so far left that they can't see truth from reality. I would actually, I'm at this point now, I've decided I don't like Ncuti Gatwa. Don't like him. I've got no time for the guy at all. Simply because I can sort of, not just because of the TQ cult mentality and the nonsense, the supporting the homophobia, etc., and the misogyny, but because of this issue now, because I would think, actually, yeah, I can see him doing that. I can actually see him saying these sorts of things. I can actually, so I'm sorry. I've decided I don't like him. I would like a Paul McGann style Doctor next, said Saint 194. I feel like we've been robbed of a fantastic Doctor that we never really got the best of there. There's plenty of good British actors around at the moment that could pull this role together and do a good job of building a character. And some of them are in their 30s and 40s. they're out there. Some of them are still in their 50s who could deserve something, but personally, I don't think it's going to happen yet. And Duncan the Funky Evans wants to know, have mainstream media been watching Who's Views?
You do wonder.
Forbidden Man is saying, well done to that Rod guy. And yep, spot on, Rod, says Matthew Burrows. John is agreeing with that. Well said, Rod, spot on. And Bundy 4077 is saying, for the first time in over a decade, I bought The Sun because I liked the front page. I can see a lot of people framing it actually and putting it into their Doctor Who dens.
Yes.
And how is The Sun or this source reliable if they reported that he quit months ago, says Harry Bagg? Well,
they make it up sometimes.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
What happens, Harry, as I've said before, is that these people, no disrespect to Rod or anybody else, but these people do tend to travel around the Doctor Who websites, Doctor Who Facebook page, Doctor Who Twitter, shows like ours for stories. And a lot of this stuff we've actually spoken about for nigh on a year now. So to put it out there, but bearing in mind now, this is bigger than fandom. This has gone to the great British public. And whether you like it or not, don't really like it myself, a lot of people, read The Sun. And it's still there. And that was the front page today of The Sun.
I agree with the sentiment in the article about having respect for the series if it does come back, and that's the main problem with this show.
What's that?
There's a very low-flying aeroplane going past outside my window. A low buzzing noise.
I had lentil soup for my dinner. I don't know if that was me. I apologize. No, but I think yes. No.
I can almost see him in the aeroplane.
The respect for the series, I think that's what the problem with the current series. They've had no respect for what's gone before at all, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the problem there, and because they've put agendas in and their own politics in more than actually thinking about the show. I'm thinking more about the general audience, of a wide audience, not just people that think like them. That's why it shed millions and millions and millions. Of people watching this thing, and millions of fans, not just in our country, but worldwide. We don't watch it because we don't agree. Had they just come back, guys, and put together a good Doctor Who series, then I think it would have been a good success with a decent lead actor. Because for me, this is the second spectacular miscast in a row.
Yeah.
And there have been two spectacular miscasts, Whittaker and Gatwa, as far as I'm concerned. Awful.
Well, you could arguably say that Tennant's return hardly set the world alight, and went down that wokery route.
Yeah,
so in theory, the recasting of Tennant makes that 3 in a row, really.
I suppose you could say that. Yeah, I suppose you could argue that. I mean, they just played on the then popularity. But it's not going to happen again. Let's face it.
No.
We've also got Cosmic Toyman joining us. Hello to you. Get McGann back to do a stint. He regenerates into a new good actor, fit for the part, and continue from there. Just say that the series is bi-generated. You can like whichever version you like.
Don't give them ideas, because that's what they're going to do at the end of the finale. Probably, it wouldn't surprise me.
No, yeah.
But not with McGann, with someone we don't like. Yes.
Andy Gledhill is saying to us, the Yas Queen could be gone. Hooray. Yeah, exactly. Matthew Burrows is saying Keir Starmer is the next showrunner. I can't even run a country, never mind a show. And John is saying the timing is also interesting to capitalize on the Eurovision withdrawal, even at the cost of the finale airing under the shadow of cancellation. Maybe they also think it would bring in more viewers. I don't know.
Extra publicity. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's not good publicity, though, is it?
It's not.
No.
I'm one of these people now that will disagree with that old saying, all publicity is good publicity. No, it bloody isn't in this day and age. This is bad publicity. And we can see that through Doctor Who, because the last few years in our country, it's been getting bad press, woke this, woke that, this, agenda this, trans this. And the British public have gone and switched it off.
Yeah.
Simple as that, isn't it? How does the next person to come in fix everything, says Flying Car 100? It's a bloody good question, that Flying Car 100.
If that was easy to say, it'd be done by now, surely, But...
Yeah, you live it a while, then you come back and you don't reference anything from 2005 onwards. Unfortunately, the good bits and everything they're casualties of war. Really, you have to erase it. You just ignore it. Just see it as a separate bit of semi-official BBC fan wankery, and just pick it up from the TV movie or whatever. But unfortunately, you've just got to detach yourself from this entirely because it's toxic.
But
And
they don't think it is,
that
do
rod
they?
was, no, they don't. But that rod was absolutely accurate. You need somebody that shows respect for the original series. And if you're going to use ideas or concepts or creatures or characters that somebody else has created, and let's be fair, that accounts for most of what RTD's ever written, drawing on other people's work. You have to do it with respect to your source material, and they haven't. Chibnall didn't with the Time Lords, and the entire character of the Doctor, going back to Newman and C.E. Weber and all those people that brought Doctor Who together, and Verity Lambert and everybody else. They changed the very concept of this program. They showed no respect to its source material whatsoever, and they should never be allowed anywhere near it ever again, I think.
I think for more of the same come the finale, sadly, from what sources have been reading. From my janitor at BBC Wales was telling me. So yeah.
Well, stay with us because we're going to be looking at tomorrow's episode, Wish World, in this show. So stay with us, Who viewers. We've got Michael Hallett with us. I truly think that MSM is now only saying this because of all the reviews on YouTube. They probably noticed you guys get more views than that poxy version of, I'm not even going to call him the Doctor. Well, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, this was broke by this is a story by Rod in the Sun, which MSN and a lot of others. It's one of the few that debunked it. A lot of the media actually just regurgitated what Rod had said in the Sun. Dr. Martin, who was saying to us, "Hey JT, it's a bit of a slow news day. Anything to report?" There's quite a bit actually today. Anthony Parkinson, it's good to see you. Turklock is saying, BBC saying it's pure fiction that Ncuti Gatwa has been fired, but I guess this doesn't rule out that he left the role voluntary many months back. Don't forget, everybody, as well, that this thing wrapped last year.
Yeah.
You know, he did 2 series back to back, so it's not as if it's just happened now. Paul, you are right, says John. Gatwa was fired over the Eurovision. He had decided to leave long before. This is just to shift the blame to him. What else we got? Paul Richards is saying to us, identity politics off the scale, Jews ex machina, and a miscast central lead. What could possibly go wrong? But Paul Schlafter is saying, I bet Ncuti regrets taking on the role. Mind you, he's never invested or appeared interested in the role when you compare to previous actors who have played the role. Well, that ties in, Paul, with Schlafter, with my ongoing point that Doctor Who suddenly became a show that could propel the actors in it into the States. Now, during the Chibnall era, that stopped.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. But I think a lot of actors were looking at this because agents, I think, were turning around to them saying, this is a stepping stone. Do 2 or 3 seasons in this and we can get you into America. But that's only when Doctor Who was massive in America. So I think the last actor to really, really benefit from that was Smith.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, when Capaldi was doing it, they did a world tour, you know, of one of the, was it Seas 9, I think it was, and they went all around the world and were touring it and promoting it, and that's when it was still quite big. Obviously, Capaldi was a very experienced actor, but I think the trouble with Ncuti is he hasn't realised what he was taking on in the first place, how big this potentially could have been, and I think he spoiled it for everyone now, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to take a lot of work to bring it back to where it used to be. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Is Rod McPhee third Dr. Ian in disguise? Yes.
I can't possibly comment.
Has Rod McPhee been on, I can't remember the TV critic on Talk TV, Kevin, what's his name? Has he been on his show before?
I'm not too sure, possibly.
I think I recognise the name. Yeah, I mean, that's how we look. Yeah.
Well, it's because we've talked about him before. He has had several articles on this show as well, but I don't know.
I've seen him live on Kevin. I forgot the TV critic's name. He does his own show, and I think I've seen him on there because that rings a bell.
I'm sure they do the odd bit of TV. Yeah, I'm sure they do. John is saying, who would take it while the toxic RTD is still in charge? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, while he's still in charge, the show is doomed. And although the BBC have said, if we've reported in the last few weeks, that Russell has series 3 and 4 all planned out, BBC Studios, you need to understand, we don't want him. He is one of the elements of the show that has killed the show for British viewing. people public. We don't want him, and for the fans, if he does the next one, you might as well just not bother. Save your money, because it's going to be the same as this one and last year's. You're not going to get them in. Hello and welcome to Who's Views. Elvis77, who's saying sure, Pertwee should take over as the next Doctor.
No.
And David Williams is saying the next series needs a new title to separate it from the last 5 terrible series. Maybe Doctor Who Adventures and make it a total reboot.
As long as they don't call it the New Adventures of Doctor Who, that'd be awful. Don't call
Well,
it
that was touted, wasn't it, once upon a time?
Yeah, it's an awful name, isn't it?
I didn't like it then either.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, David. There's lots of options you could do, but they really need a couple of years to actually think about it while it's not in production, I reckon, to say, right, what do we do now? What's gone wrong? How many things do we have to fix? Everything. Who can do this now? How does this fit into the alleged entertainment industry? Because that's the crux of the problem as well. You know, terrible. It's so infested by weirdos. It really is. And Yokai63 is with us saying, I don't think the part of the Doctor should go to anyone under 40 years old. We need a mature character actor.
Yeah. It's fair.
Woodhouse122, I understand. I won't buy The Sun, not a Liverpool fan, but the treatment of Hillsborough can't be forgotten. No, it can't. It absolutely can't. I know. But it puts me in a situation here. What do I do? It's a story about Doctor Who, and this channel has to report it. So I didn't buy it. It's come off the internet. I wouldn't pay for it, but I have to report it. And it's in The Sun. But I know what you're saying, so thank you for that. What a headline and what a laugh, says Domgo. And Carwin is saying to us, I don't think it matters. We still got RTD in charge. The next Doctor could be worse. That's the problem, though, Carwin, isn't it? It can't be. It can't be. It has to be better. They've had 2 goes at this now. Chibnall, failure. RTD2, failure. You can't have a third one.
No.
Well, from what the speculation is in terms of that, talking about another woman, etc., and all that kind of stuff, it sounds if they're going to go down all that route again, they're going to go back to square one again and just be awful again, aren't they? You know, but
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, RTD is a Bad Wolf employee, and the property belongs to the BBC. Yeah. Well, yeah, but is not a BBC employee, as they've been at great pains to say over the last couple of years. And the property belongs to the BBC. Yes. So he's only in charge of it in so much as he's been leading the Bad Wolf effort. If the BBC terminate all contact with Bad Wolf, then that surely by default terminates RTD as well. Well,
at the moment, they're all out of contract. You know, and of course, RTD is freelance, so not necessarily he could go to his new production company with the ideas. If the BBC really are wanting Russell involved, and bearing in mind, the industry loves RTD. They kiss his arse. He's the best thing since brown bread. He's incredible for them. I mean, he's just walked from Doctor Who to a new gig straight away like that by picking up the phone with his contacts for Channel 4. You know, the man goes back a long way now. So if people at BBC want him, we will get him. Doesn't mean we have to watch it or support it.
What we have to hope for is someone in the BBC has seen the light and seen the fact that this current era and the past era as well with Jodie was awful, and it needs a rethink and to be sorted out. But no one's going to stand up to that, are they? That's a problem. You know?
Well, no, because the industry is poisoned with ideological philosophy, you know. And it's rife with this stuff, anti-Semitism as well. It's a disgrace. It's absolutely disgusting, and they all think they're right. And you know what they do is they spend time pushing all these agendas, writing it into everything, putting on all these absolute nonsense shows, telling you can only come to this show if you're black or whatever it's going to be. All this nonsense, and they think it's all because it's allegedly progressive in inverted commas. It's not. It's because you are all what you tell the rest of us that we are, ist, ots, and phobes. And then they turn around and wonder why the theatres are closing and nobody's buying a ticket.
Yeah. Entertainment should go to everybody, not a minority group.
And yeah, they're focusing too much because we've talked about DEI so many times on headlines. They're obsessed with this. Obsessed with this. You know?
Yeah, the business model's crazy. It really is, honestly.
Lenny.
But ultimately, they need money, don't they? They need money. They need sales. They need people to watch it. And they know full well that if they carry on like this with him, they aren't going to get that. And they'll have to make that choice. What is more important to them, following an agenda or making money?
Do you know what I think the answer to that is? Following the agenda, because they don't care. They don't. That we have got theatres across the United Kingdom closing now, and they're all going around saying, "Why is nobody here? Why is nobody coming to see my progressive show about two queens bitching? Why is nobody coming to see this drag queen show where they're all playing the wives of Henry VIII? Why is nobody doing this? Why is nobody doing that?" That's why.
We're fed up with it. That's why.
Yeah, and we're sick and tired as a public of being told how we should act and think and talk and how to address people and to deny truth and reality because of this. Honestly, I've seen this. I'm constantly rowing with idiots on the Stage's Facebook page. Honestly, even this morning, and I'm the one that's an optimist and a phobe, you know, and you point it out to them. I've now started to wind them up by saying, "Get back in your box," or "Bless you," or because they're so full of fantasy, they can't see the truth.
Yeah.
Lenny, thank you very much for your chat there. Hello, they should sack the whole cast. There is nothing salvageable there, including RTD and the other scribblers. Yes, they can. But when you look at some of these people that are writing now as well, box tickers, and they might not be brilliant shows, but they're box tickers. Paul Richards is saying Tenet is overrated. R. John is saying Ian is right. Tenet 2 was useless. He was only there for 5 minutes as well, really.
Yeah.
Paul Schlapp is saying to us, the BBC can't be happy with this. They know the series is in serious trouble under the current showrunner. Surely they should step in. Maybe they have.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? Really? But yeah.
It's all going to come out in the wash, guys. And Anthony Parkinson says Toby Stevens would be a good choice, but there's no way they'd cast a straight white man in the role again. Well, that would be discrimination, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
We're on.
They're okay with that in certain directions, aren't
They are. Yeah, they absolutely are. I mean, we do know as well that the BBC, of course, one of these people that go out. Only today, I've seen it. I've got the advert here because I'm going to show you this on another show if I can find where my pictures are. Here we go. I've got this here. This is typical of the BBC. This one is an internship, a summer internship from BBC Northern Ireland. This is a positive action scheme, and as such, you must be from a Black, Asian, or minority ethnic background to apply.
Internships, though, if you've got the fun, it's like slave labor, isn't it? To be honest, so it's like taking advantage of someone and making them work for nothing. That's what they tend to do with that, isn't it? And call it experience. You know, you'll get
the successful candidate 10 years down the line claiming reparations, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I just still think positive discrimination is still discrimination. There's the word.
Absolutely.
It's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. Because I find that disgraceful. You are robbing somebody's child of an opportunity to do that internship who could be suitable for a wonderful, glittering career, and you're destroying it because they can't fit a box. You make me sick, you people in alleged entertainment. You make me puke. Doctor Who fan 001 is saying you need to give the BBC some ideas of new showrunners. They won't listen. They won't listen. Honestly. They won't bother with all of us because we're the great unwashed, aren't we, guys? We've had that, haven't we? We've heard that.
Certainly are.
If they're going to take any advice, what they need to do is, like I said before, all of us, not have a fan producing it. Have someone who knows something about television, about entertainment, how to produce a really cracking show, and make it entertaining and bring back the essence of Doctor Who, which is sorely missing. You know,
completely. Yeah, I mean, when the majority of the people that run the BBC have a social life based around Islington in London, you know full well they're not going to listen to common sense at all.
There's no common sense in the BBC.
No, they're too far gone.
Yeah, you can see that in everything they do. I mean, look at the amount of times. Question Time, for example, is under attack all the time now. And we mentioned that last week, I think. I didn't realize it was recorded and then edited. PTA, thank you for your super chat. I wonder if Disney will ask for a refund.
I will look at the receipt. I'm sure they have. Yeah. So.
They do have every right to, I think. Do you not think, guys?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've said this all along. They really should want their money back. I'd be really upset, you know.
I'd be very upset, yeah.
Didn't do what it said on the tin. Trade Description Act, that's for sure, yeah.
If you're just joining us here on Headlines and Who's Views, we are talking about, of course, the front page news of The Sun today, which then certain other tabloids started to pick up, but they put it inside the paper. That Ncuti Gatwa has been fired, allegedly, from Doctor Who. what we're trying to do here is talk about that, but obviously put into context the fact that as fans, we all know that this series finished filming last year in whatever year that was, 2024. Okay, yes, there were pickups at the beginning of 2025, but they finished last year. He's out of contract. Everybody is finished. The Doctor Who people then went to do this alleged Sea Devil nonsense, which we keep forgetting about, quite frankly. You must remind us. And he's been out of contract for a while. He's done The Importance of Being Earnest. He's doing this Marlowe thing, isn't he? That takes him up to October, November, apparently. So if he is still the Doctor, it's not going to be this year. He's out of contract. No. Oh, David Shaw's.
You can just imagine, can't you?
Well,
sorry, I was just going to say, you can just imagine, can't you? Talking about Disney wanting their money back and everything. You can just imagine them sat in a room with RTD and a DVD playing of like Genesis of the Daleks or something like that, and they're just pointing to the screen and looking at RTD and going, but, and you've given us this. It's like, no, we wanted. Then you've given, I'd be wanting the money back.
It's a bit like when you try and sort out a bill at a menu at a family party. Who had this? Did you have that? I don't order this. What's this? It's like that.
Yeah. The problem is, though, is more fool them because they had people on the exec team.
Yeah.
So if they weren't happy with it, they're the ones that they should be being spoken to by Disney because they were signing it off on behalf of Disney. And that was proven, wasn't it? Remember when RTD and Phil Collinson were saying that Disney had put some input in saying, oh, that doesn't quite work, do this or do that into the script. So they're just as accountable in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't trust the house.
I'd love to see, though, what percentage of the content was Russell and what was Disney and how much they do actually kind of tally with each other. Or was it all Disney or was it more Russell? You know what I mean? Because it'd be interesting to see. I will never find out probably, but it's probably 50-50, isn't it, to be honest?
I would say, yeah, I'm hoping that all comes out in the wash first. But we got, as I keep saying, I think a lot of it would have been Russell. I think at least 90% of it would have been RTD because he's a very angry man because the world isn't doing what he wants it to do. I'd say from Brexit onwards, to be quite onwards.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, if you look at some of Disney's other Star Wars projects and stuff like that, a lot of that has gone down similar routes as well. And Star Wars fans are in the same position as we are. So there's similar wookery from Disney Plus doing the Star Wars stuff as well. So you can see there are influences in their camp as well, definitely.
Yeah. A lot of you with us in the chat tonight. Keep the chat coming along. Paul Richard saying, I'm wondering if the actor who was going to play the Doctor before Gatwa got it was Sean Harris. If so, I'm furious. He's superb. There were a few names. I remember hearing the Sean Harris rumour at the time, Paul Richards. I also heard, of course, Anirin Bernard, which was my favourite for the Doctor. Again, it's going to come out one day.
Someone mentioned Toby Stevens as well. I heard that whispers of that a while ago as well.
You'll never get him now. Too big.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Too big. But we'll know one day, everybody. We'll know everybody. And hello to the Chorus Sci-Fi Fantasy. I hope you're better. I mentioned you earlier if you weren't with us earlier. I hope you're feeling better. If the show is to ever have a future again, anything from 2005 needs to be ignored.
Yeah.
You two agree with that, don't you?
Yeah.
100%.
And I actually like old New Who, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those first four series were great fun. I thoroughly enjoyed those, and I liked a large amount of Matt Smith, but it was stifled by usual Moffat shittery. But and
tiny
Capaldi
whininess.
And Capaldi was a fantastic casting, but so underserved, and it didn't go wrong from 2017. It was going wrong virtually from the minute Capaldi was cast, because he was never written for properly. You know, those 3 episodes in, having to ask Clara, between her punching him in the face repeatedly, having to ask her, was he a good man? It's just like, no, come on. No, it was nonsense. But those first 4 years, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think most of the British public did as well. From my point of view, Chorus Sci-Fi Fantasy, I'd be a little bit more ruthless, and I would actually build into the first couple of series, if I was the showrunner, a massive retro. I really would. And I would write off immediately Whittaker, the other one whose name I can never remember, the other woman. I can never remember the bloody woman's name.
Joe Martin.
Thank you. Why can't I remember her name? It's because I never watched it. I would also write off John Hurt and Gatwa. I would be very, very, very...
Well, I'm really hacked off. I really feel sorry for Michael Jaston You know, he was a Valiant in 14 episodes. Now got a look in, does he? Let's be honest. Yeah.
Why is he never on the roll call when these three other ones are?
Every other Tom, Dick, and Harry or Tom, Dick, and Joe happens to be on the roll call, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a clip. The other day of the end of the 11th hour. You know, where the Doctor calls the spaceship back, and he says, "Tell me, is it protected?" And it only shows Doctors from Hartnell forward, and it's just up to Tennant. You know, it's bizarre. There's no Joe Martin. There's no small black girls found at the bottom of cliffs that have just been pushed off by horrible white boys and all that.
No Douglas Camfield, nothing. No, nothing. Yeah.
No.
Shane Spangler, thank you for your chat. Could this whole charade with Eurovision be a sick publicity gimmick to tie into the TV narrative? What if RTD is doing another meta stunt and started the rumour of Ncuti sacking himself? Well, more fool them, basically, right before the eve of their finale, you know, because it's on tomorrow. Wishworld, which we'll be coming to in the show, is on tomorrow. Not really looking forward to it myself personally. I just think it's boring.
Yeah,
I got it right, by the way.
It's awful, isn't it? It really is.
Well, I got it right. I said on Wednesday from the photographs they've released, I could tell what the story was. I got it absolutely right, but we're going to be coming to that. Yeah. Mudcrab is saying to us, I don't think Ncuti regrets. I think he's very proud of what he did, and thinks he was awesome. I think he was more bored with the role rather than regret starring in it. You could be right. Mark Milford, they're so arrogant, these people. It wouldn't surprise me.
He got bored hell of a quickly, did he not? Let's be honest.
Well,
he's only in about 4 episodes, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If it was filmed all at once, he hardly had the time to get bored, did he?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I could understand him being angry if he wanted to, like all the other Doctors had such a say in his outfit, and RTD's just imposed constant outfit changes on him and everything, so he doesn't have a typical Doctor silhouette. But you know, I mean, actors. You look at Tom Baker. You know, he put his foot down. And Gatwa could have done the same. You know, they would have caved eventually, but he obviously didn't want to do it.
Don't you love how the cult eats their own, says Mark Milford. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they live in a world of lies and fantasy, and it never adds up quite for them, does it?
I'm surprised they don't have indigestion by now, to be honest, you know.
Yeah. And Graham Kirk, hello to you, Graham. Good evening, chaps. Today's news has been in the making for the last few years. RTD, Disney, BBC, and Bad Wolf are all to blame. There needs to be a long rest for the programme and a complete clear out. Graham, lots of people in fandom are saying that, although, of course, we get attacked for that by people who are absolutely desperate to ensure that there is no gap year, that there is no sign of any cancellation, because they're going to freak out. These people, I've said it before on the show, I'm genuinely concerned about those hardcore fans of this version because of what they might do. So I think if BBC Studios are ever tuning into this, you will have to be responsible when the day comes you are announcing this thing is coming off the air, even for 3 years. You must be responsible to these insane lunatics that you have brought into our fandom, that you have nurtured and that you have pandered to. They're your problem.
The worst thing we did back in the 80s was produce a charity record. That was the worst thing we did.
You may say we. But don't include me in that.
Yeah, well, we're talking about fandom.
Take me out of that as well.
We didn't sing on the record, guys. Fortunately, there we are.
And also, I would say the other bad thing about it was Dimensions in Time.
I'll see you later. Yeah.
That was high drama compared to Space.
Compared to the current run, that's like Genesis, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Terrified Monk is saying to me, Jinx Monsoon as the Doctor. Go and stand in the corner. Said Sydney Rough Diamond is saying nothing will be fixed. The rot runs deep in the BBC, as we are all seeing now, aren't we? It's very clear that the place is being run by extreme far left ideological activists who are probably just out of some far left university or college thinking they know for it. They know it all. It's awful what's going on over there. What has happened to the beloved BBC? It's gone right down the toilet. Doctor Who fan 001, we need a straight white male. End of.
Yeah.
I can't believe that somebody saying that is controversial.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Isn't it just absolutely ridiculous thing? Pete Merritt saying just sack everyone. Got to get a non-fan head writer and a producer and start afresh with a male Doctor, number unknown. That's how I do it, Pete. I have to say, I have to do.
Eccleston was right, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
chat is going really quickly. To Phil, if the role of the Doctor shouldn't go to anyone below 40, then I'll never get the part. I've been 36 for the last 8 years. Please, round the neck. And also in the chat is Time Lord Victorious. Hello, Emilio. Happy birthday for the other day. Have you caught up with our show yet? We said happy birthday to you. Hope you had a lovely time. Josh H is with us as well. I think Jonah Howard King was going to be the Doctor until RTD saw Ncuti Gatwa and was mesmerized for some reason.
Yes, I wonder why. Yeah.
It's box ticking.
Yeah, it's bizarre, that, isn't it?
No, honestly, it's
Well, that's
not,
one way of putting it,
agree with what other
GT.
fans, I don't agree with what other fans speculate. I think it's box ticking. He's queer and he's black. End of story. In you go. DEI. Woodhouse 122. Some of the Tenant 60 special episodes were not too bad. Go and sit in the corner. Corner's going to get very big. Oh, yes. What else have we got here? Who else we got? Oh, there's lots of you in the chat. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Julianne. Hello, Julianne. What are you saying to us? Do Bad Wolf have the option of the show for the next 2 years until 2027? Is that why the rumor says no Who production until 2027?
That's a possibility, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe. Who knows?
We don't know because we don't know the full terms and conditions, and it's none of our business, quite frankly, what the deal is with BBC Studios. We don't know what the deal is.
Remember how awful it was after the TV movie and all that right issues and all that kind of stuff going on there. I'd hate things all tangled up with Disney as well. That'd be awful. It could be.
Well, Disney are just distribution as well, isn't it? They would have an element into the production, but I still think the BBC can take this back from anybody. For any reason, there'll be clauses in there.
I hope so. I hope they can.
They're not that stupid. BBC Studios, they're stupid, but they're not that stupid. I mean, they know Doctor Who makes them money.
Yeah,
you know. Thanks, Julianne. It's good to see you. Marine Boy, we've got two Marine Boys. We've got Marine Boy 66 and Marine Boy. The BBC or Gateway are of the same thinking. The BBC and Gateway are of the same thinking. Yeah. Why does Alan Yentob keep interviewing RTD for Imagine, does he?
Well, he has just recently, was it around about the anniversary? For the 60th, he did that Imagine programme. It was really boring. On the set of the new TARDIS. Wasn't that in
the anniversary year?
Yeah. But then they did another one with a camera that when it came back in 2005, they did a Newsnight one, didn't they? On the set of the Tenant TARDIS, the original one, you know.
Oh, okay. No, I don't follow it.
Ago,
Don't follow it. Joey is saying to us, the BBC shred RTD's remaining dribbled scripts for confetti to launch a new real Doctor Who. Yeah, I'd go for that. You're not allowed to use confetti these days, though, unless it's environmentally friendly, as I've been told in the last couple of weeks.
Or in space in a cannon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that stupid cannon confetti.
Well, that's scientifically impossible, Ian. Anyway, wasn't it? That's
yes, it was.
Still can't believe that from what they were telling me in our review show on Sunday.
I'll just swim through space to that cannon.
Yeah.
Still glad to miss that episode. David Shaw is saying, I hope you're well, David. I remember a Doctor Who episode called Remembrance of the Daleks, classic episodes. It was so good, and the Doctor was good. It was jumpy, had cliffhanger episodes, and the Daleks goes upstairs. That's the stairs. That was cool. It was, and it was the first time that it happened, David, wasn't it?
It's a cracking story. Yeah.
So you know, for all of us that were there at the time, it was like that, wasn't it? At last,
I don't know where you're from, David, but it's on the iPlayer. If you access that, it's on the.
Yeah.
Superb story.
Imagine, David, that we had stories like that again in New Doctor Who. That just told science fiction. That's what we want as fans, isn't it? Bad Wolf is just about broke, says Mark Milford. You were right, aren't you? No real cash to do anything. Sony is oddly quiet last 2 years. Mark, didn't you tell me, or was it you that told me that the rumor was that Sony was trying to get out of the whole situation there with them? Was it you that said that, or was it somebody else?
That wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Ncuti Gatwa and his team, says Sync194, think he's way bigger and more important than he is. I remember RTD had to crack down early on because he was using foul language all the time on set. That's true. I think we reported that a couple of years ago or last year. He'd said something wrong while wearing the costume, and RTD had to allegedly call him into the office to say, you can do what you want out of this, out of time, but when you're wearing that costume, you are the Doctor and you have a responsibility. One of the only things I would agree with RTD on over his latest stint.
Yeah.
Honestly. And reboot it from Capaldi Doctor, says John Booth. It would show Chibnall and Davies up for the destructive rubbish this pair produced with two terrible actors who played the Doctor. Make my day and do it. Yeah, Well,
I think they're never going to scrub it. They're never going to go back to that. They might start again afresh, a new season to start again. But I don't think they won't kind of shut it down. Entirely. I don't think. Sadly.
Yeah. Hello to Heretic. How are you, Mister? 15 minutes ago, Doctor Who Instapage has put up a video of RTD basically telling everyone they have to watch the new episode as they'll regret missing it, and don't spoil it for anyone else. It seems desperate. It probably is. We are coming to Wish World, and some of the alarm bells have gone off in my head over what he was saying again. As you'll know, I didn't sit through the Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall era. You guys have all told me of the pain you all went through watching that as they destroyed canon. It's probably only just the beginning from what they're talking about now. So we're going to be coming through. Isn't that illegal? Says John D. Retired. I think you mean the positive discrimination we're talking about there. No, it's not in this country, unfortunately. It's not. It's called positive discrimination, and they bloody well get away with it. And it's shocking, isn't it? The word is discrimination. It's still there. And as Jason Parker is saying, there is nothing positive about positive discrimination.
No, totally agree.
I agree totally. I hate it. Matt, the Silent Wee Music King. If I pick a showrun, I'd go for Gary Russell, Paul Cannell, Gareth Roberts, or Toby Whithouse. I'd only go for Gareth there. Matt, make of that as you will. I don't like the politics of the others.
No, I would agree on that one. I think the others are quite toxic.
Yeah,
Gareth's the best writer, the most of them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but they're all part of the clique with RTD. We need somebody.
It'd just be continuity politics, wouldn't it? It would be continuity politics. I think, personal opinion. I'm not speaking for the channel. I'm just speaking of personal opinion. Those first two, especially, are a huge part of the problem. Very divisive.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Anybody that's been part of the clique, I wouldn't go near. I would. It's very unlikely that Gareth. In fact, he actually tweeted today that he's out of touch now with Doctor Who. His decision, and quite rightly so, the way he was treated. But I would, if I was in charge, I would go to him and have a lunch at the license fee payer's expense.
He would hate this current era, wouldn't he? If he's not seen it, but he'd absolutely hate it, wouldn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. What we got here as well. Sadly, we have lost all the writers that made Doctor Who, the show we grew up with before it went wrong for the fans. Says Elvis 77. I know it's terrible, isn't it? You look back.
We haven't lost the memories or the way they did it, or the approach they took, or the mentality they had. We can replicate that, and you just need original ideas to put through it. I mean, I'm not an expert at this, but isn't it a Shakespeare thing? There's only 3 or 4 story types, and you just need the concept, the idea, the premise, and then you can just apply that style, and it'll fly, I think.
Yeah. It's something. It's the basics that they've forgotten because they're so. I mean, look at the fuss over the story in the engine and RTD. In this, the latest edition of Doctor Who magazine, we're going to come to this another time. RTD basically explains what I would call an obsession with having these stories because his leading man wanted something to do with an African legend or a Nigerian legend or whatever it is. I don't know, my geography's terrible. We're going to be coming to that, but the obsession that he shows. I was going to put it into tonight's show, but then this one broke, so we'll come back to it. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the video. Make sure if you are subscribed that you're still subscribed. Lawrence Steele, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Detached to the point of altruism. Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good word. We should use that more often. And Joe Chapman, hello, lovely. Remember, RTD said, no one says no to me. It's all his fault.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's something
he's got no wriggle room there, has he? He's got no space to maneuver there.
So if he can take the blame, that'd be nice of him to do that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. He won't, will he?
It won't
be our fault.
It'll be our fault, yeah.
Who knows?
He destroyed it by not watching it. That's the thing. So.
Well, who knows what's going to happen in a few weeks' time,
Yeah.
Cara. Yeah, when you read Radio Times articles about how the pairing will upset people, and this is a good thing with Fruity, Shooty, and Companion laughing about it, this is not a good thing. Well, that wound me up as well, that article we read out from where they just assumed everybody in the country and everybody in the world was an ist.
Yeah.
How pathetic of them. I hate that. Yeah. And these are people, guys, I've said it before, these people are role models. And these young people usually are very impressionable young people at that. These are role models to these people. So what they're going to think? No wonder Doctor Who fandom now is full of absolute nastiness and toxicity from them to all of us. Oh, you're too old. Oh, you're white. Oh, you're heterosexual. Oh, you're this, or you're this, or you're not. It's come from these people in entertainment. They have created monsters, and they've created them all since 2017, in my opinion, in our fandom. It's horrible. I can't stand it. Disney ordered their Doctor Who from Wish by mistake, says Julianne. David B. Perfect template for a relaunch Doctor Who would be Spearhead from Space. What do you reckon to that, guys?
Well, it worked the first time round, didn't it? So,
if you were going to make it Earth-based, but I mean, even with all this money, they've still made it Earth-based, haven't they? Because you never seem to get away from it very often. But if you were going to do it like that, I think we've touched on this before a while back. You know, we've referenced programs from the early noughties like Ultraviolet that had kind of like good drama, tension, a bit of a paramilitary organization in the background, very similar to Unit and things like that. And it probably would work, but it would have to be done entirely seriously and gritty, I think, without any other kind of like agenda. But yeah, it could work.
None of this knowing meta nonsense.
No. That gets old really quick. I mean, it's old already and they haven't transmitted the bloody thing yet.
Well, even if they explain what was going on with all the stuff to camera and all the breaking the fourth wall nonsense, it's going to be really unsatisfying, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember he said he might never explain it because he doesn't feel the need to.
Well, that's just lazy, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's putting things. Well, that's what he is. When are people going to see? He's not the big, fabulous writer everybody seems to think he is. What can he write? What can he write? Basically, what he does is the same subject all the time. Even this new thing he's doing next year is a TQ cult drama based in Manchester on Canal Street. Let's go back to 1999 and have a look at Queer as Folk, shall we? That kicked it all off for him properly. Before that, he was doing soaps.
Yeah. With his Doctor Who stories, though,
Thank you, Uncle Remus, by the way. Nice to see you, Uncle Remus. Thank you very much for joining us. And C3PO. Go on, Ian.
No, it's just with his Doctor Who stuff, though. All he tends to do is build up to a series finale, fail to deliver, develop this massive concept where everything's absolutely unsurvivable. Thousands of people die or were turned to dust, usually in a very bad visual effect, and then hits a reset switch. Every time he hits a reset switch, and he did it again last season, I'll put money that he'd do it again this season.
Oh, we're soon going to find out.
Yeah.
We are going to find out very soon. Wish World starts tomorrow. We're going to be looking at it as part of this show. Jess is saying to us all, after Capaldi have to cease to be part of future Doctor Who, good writers, creative teams and media gurus can soon overcome that hurdle. It's very simple in my eyes. You ignore the book and it's just a little line basically saying, I had a nightmare once, or I had a lie once that I've solved while the viewers weren't watching. It's as simple as that. You know, it's very simple. Don't make a big fuss of it. Write the bloody thing off. And now, Rob is saying to us, now this is where I'm going to be a little bit controversial with a lot of you in the chat, I am sure. John Hurt is justifiable given Chris wouldn't return, says Rob. Now, Rob, I love John Hurt. Is he the Doctor for me? No, he's not. Should he have been the villain? Yes, he should have been. And my take on this and the whole thing, Eccleston, quite rightly, said no, he didn't want to take part. That's up to him. Then why didn't they go to McGann?
Yeah.
And the reason that Moffat gave doesn't sit with me. He couldn't see the Eighth Doctor pressing the button. The bloody button wasn't pressed.
Yeah.
I would have had McGann and given him the whole blooming episode with his successors. You know, that's me. That's just me.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen McGann doing the Hurt thing, and it would have tied it up a lot easier for me rather than have McGann into Hurt. And then, because that opened the door for me as well, Rob, to all this nonsense about, what's the name again?
Joe Martin.
And anybody else that comes along. No, you know, so sorry, Rob. Yes.
Did he not do it just in order he could shuffle up the numbers and force another regeneration cycle on the Doctor or some nonsense like that? He wanted to do that, didn't he? That's the way.
He was desperate to tackle that timeline of so many regenerations only, wasn't he? He was desperate to do that. And that's him imposing himself again on something that was, rightly or wrongly, I would probably, considering my worship of this guy, probably say wrongly, that's something that was Robert Holmes that Moffat wanted to sequester, if that's the right word.
The Day of the Doctor is never going to sit with me for that reason. I was squirming when I saw what Moffat was going to do. I was like, oh God, what? No.
They didn't even put Paul McGann in the pre-title sequence on Night of the Doctor for the Day of the Doctor. That really annoyed me as well. You know, they could have done that at least. You know,
it should be McGann. McGann was the Doctor. McGann is the Doctor, and he would have done a wonderful job in the Day of the Doctor of that role, and it would have given that meaty end of time.
Yeah,
because they even shoehorned in a bloody regeneration at the end of it. It would have been far easier to have McGann. Right, okay, I'm gone into Eccleston, nice and tidy. That's my.
Because in terms of the general audience, you know, having McGann didn't matter as McGann or John Hurt because they didn't know really much about that Doctor anyway. So it'd be a nice fresh take for the general audience as well, which would be lovely. You know?
But I always think that everybody involved with the Day of the Doctor was so desperate, including Moffat, to work with Hurt, which I get, I understand. But by God, John Hurt's he was. Let's get the tense correct. John Hurt was a good villain.
Yeah,
he was. We were robbed of a bloody good master.
Yeah.
Or a brand new villain, which would be preferable for me. Josh H. Sorry. No world-ending storylines, no gods. Just get back to basics. Oh, and give us some bloody Daleks. Dom Go are saying the only way forward with this is for a new unnumbered Doctor who doesn't refer to any specific previous Doctor, so a soft reboot, effectively. Yes, I agree with that. I think that's common sense. We never had to do it between 63 and 89. It was just a continuation. They're obsessed now because they're fans and they have to tie every little bloody thing together, and the exposition has to be there and they have to explain everything. It does my head in. Raymond Williams saying to us, RTD needs to start taking the blame and resign. This is his vision for the show. He hired Gatwa, and I can only think of one reason why. I hope you're thinking it's DEI.
No, I was thinking what Raymond was thinking, but yeah.
Me too. Taking the blame and resigning would be him taking accountability, and his type of person doesn't take accountability, especially if it's negative. If it's wonderful, then he'll take the praise because they love that, because he likes spotlight, doesn't he? But if it's something bad and it's his fault, he will not take accountability. He'll just look to deflect and look to blame.
It could also now actually turn around and say because he's producing this other show for Channel 4. He could also now say, I've walked away now. Here's the outline. I've given the outlines for series 3 and 4. He could do a George Lucas and say, I've given the outlines for the future. If they want to use them, they want to use them. It's a nice, easy escape route if they want to do it. We stay with us here on Whose Views, because I reckon the next year we've got a lot of stories coming up on headlines to cover. And a lot of it will be what. There might be some good news out of it as well. But bearing in mind, BBC Studios are absolutely desperate to ensure Doctor Who's continuation one way or another. Let's see what the decisions are. I'm standing by my bed thinking, I might fall down on that a minute because I can't see it all being good, but fingers crossed. Joe Chapman saying, is it a 2-episode tomorrow or another next week? No, it's 1 episode tomorrow, part 1 on Wishworld, and then the Reality War is part 2. That comes next Saturday, and then that's it.
Thank God for that.
8 weeks. Oh, some good news from the chat from George, who's saying, I went to the Peterborough Doctor Who exhibition on Wednesday. What a lovely display of Doctor Who history, would recommend. I'm glad you do. We've already done a show because our Phil and his kids and his missus went to see it the other week. There's a visitations on our visitations playlist for that. We've also had some people involved with the show getting in touch. So thank you very much. Most recently, Michelle Handley has been in touch as well, and her fella was part of the big team who put it all together. So go and have a look at our overview of Phil's visit. There will be a sequel because they're changing the exhibits, guys. So Phil's going to go back for us.
Cool.
It looks superb. It really does.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, I wish I could get down there, but it's far too far for us. Let's have a look at this. Tactician, lovely to see you with your creepy avatar there. That looks strangely familiar. How do you destroy a 60-year legacy? With dedicated fans.
It's a gift, clearly.
Yeah, it really is. The problem with us being fans, of course, is we want the show to be good and not embarrassing.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's not.
It depends. It depends which angle Tactician's coming from, isn't it? I mean, is that a reference to us, or is that a reference to fans producing it?
I took it as a reference to fans producing it myself, but maybe
so
that's
not yeah. So do I. Yeah, those fans. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. We'll find out. I'm sure he'll come back to us. But well, thank you for that, tactician. And Raymond Williams, this won't hurt Ncuti's careers. The public have no idea who he is, thank God. I'm just worried that, again, Raymond, as we've said on the show many times, this is so reminiscent of what was going on in the late 80s, this person's going to be the Doctor. It was ridiculed, and that's where it is now in the BBC, in the British media. It's ridiculed again, and they're really getting at it, quite rightly, in my opinion, because it's awful, full of alleged progressive, far-left nonsense. And the public look at that, and it influences them to say, well, I'm not interested in that. We'll switch it off.
Yeah. The thing about it is we talked before about the Paul Daniels idea of casting Paul Daniels. Nowadays, the things are so ridiculous, you're not sure if it's true or believable or not, because this Billy Piper story, Billy Piper being the 16th Doctor, that is so unbelievably bad idea, but in the current circumstances of Doctor Who, it wouldn't surprise me if they did it. You know what I mean? It's like awful, you know? But
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're going to have to be prepared for some shocks here, because
Yeah.
I think, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I reckon Doctor Who should come off the air until the entertainment industry gets itself sorted. That could take years. Honestly.
I think with Billy Piper, she was on stage with Eccleston, smiling and laughing as he was saying, sack Russell T Davies, sack Julie Gardner. I doubt very much as a result of that they'd employ her.
Yeah.
But I'd seen the rumour.
She's still very, very pally with them all, though, isn't she? But again, it's one of the rumours coming up in the next couple of weeks, everybody, isn't it? So, we're going to be here before and after the episode, possibly crying, possibly in padded cells. I don't know. But come and join us. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. My football team is terrible. Doctor Who has been ruined. At least I've still got my favourite comedy actor, Leslie Nielsen. Sorry, he's what? Oh, man. Yeah.
Who's your football team? Inquiring minds need to know, Mark.
Oh, God. And anyway, we've got Tom Haynes who says, I've just subscribed. Tom, thank you very much. Welcome to Who's Views. It is good to see you. Let us know what you think of the new stuff. JT and panel, says Tony Farrell's TARDIS. Have you considered that there will be no change in the BBC's attitude and output until there is the political will in the country to undertake a root and branch reform? I absolutely have. Yeah. And that's why I'm sort of resigned to the fact it might not go our way. That's why I'm saying take it off the air and leave it off the air until some sort of common sense and normality comes back. Don't know what you two think, but thanks for that, Tony.
It's going to be a long wait before that happens, and sadly, if he has done 2 more seasons, but exactly the same thing with Billy Piper as the Doctor. Hooray!
I wonder what she'll wear.
We need another general election, don't we?
Yeah.
And a real change in direction before the BBC starts having the boot on its neck and its feet held to the fire, preferably at the same time. And then they'll change because they'll realise the writing's on the wall. But until then.
I think, Ian, the only way the BBC is ever going to change right now, because it's so full of alleged activists, they're not, by the way, they're just idiots, is to get rid of the license fee and make people pay for it as a subscription, because that's the only thing that's going to waken them all up when no bugger does it. I mean, that's going to put some of them out of work, honestly. We've also got here the GOAT. Hello to the GOAT. If Gatwa is out, he was out since early spring or whenever the additional shootings were. So in Eurovision rating stuff are totally unrelated and honestly sensationalism by the Sun and their ilk. Yeah. I mean, you can call it sensationalism, but as I keep saying, the GOAT, the public are reading. It was on the front page. It was the first thing I saw this morning when I went into Tesco. There it is on this thing, the front page, the Sun right in the middle. Huge, but I'll show you again. John Mason is saying these fans deserve the mind probe. No, not the mind probe. I had to put that one in. I'll show you again. It was that. That was that's the front cover. Yeah. That, of course, takes the eye before anything else.
I mean, it's going to do, surely it's going to do massive damage to Ncuti, isn't it? I mean, really, I know it's the Sun, but if it's all over the papers, it doesn't make him look good. It's like the suggestion that about Eccleston, he got very tired or he was difficult to work with kind of thing that was in the press and he got blacklisted. Remember that? So I wonder if something more could come out for Ncuti. So he may be, I don't really care if he's going to be blacklisted, then brilliant. But I think that if something happens to his career, or it's stalled or spoiled because of this, then it's their own fault, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. And should we have sympathy for them?
No.
Not in the slightest. No.
Paul Brighton 72. Yes, please, back to one episode bangers under a new showrunner with zero woke BS. Michael Sheen seems to be the BBC favourite. No. Have you seen his politics? It's more of the same. This is the problem. These people in the entertainment industry are all the same, and those the small minority that aren't daren't speak out because they won't get work. Look at the casting director of Doctor Who. I'm sure he's not going to employ anyone that doesn't agree with his side of the politics. Because look at Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Michael Sheen's not been in the frame for a while, has he? Let's be honest.
I would hope not.
His continuity tenant.
Thanks, Duncan. Thank you very much.
We've also had that thing where Russell said no, we wouldn't do it, would he, if he was still in charge? Duncan the Funky Evans there for the podcast was saying, do not diss Dimensions in Time, or you're going to love our review when we get round to it. I was there. Oh, no, thank you. So Artichoke Darlington Bamford III. Hello, you. How are you? Where did that come from? Not so much box ticking as bollocks tickling.
That's what we're alluding to be honest. Yes.
Paul Bryden again saying, I don't want to see any old Doctor Who's back, to be honest. Neither do I, Paul. I say move on. They always have the chance, but fans have to always go back and go back and go back. Mr. Puzzled, loved your books. Nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. Eccleston was telling us in code that RTD was a gibbering egotist, with heavy MPD. I don't think it was code. I don't miss the puzzle. He says it as it is, doesn't he, that fella? Honestly. Steve Black reckons that RTD will reel out Tennant again and again and again.
I'm afraid his stock is not doing very well, is it? Let's be honest.
I know.
No, it's not. It's not. Quite rightly too.
Yeah. Also, what else we got here in the chat? Nice to see you all in the chat. It's great to have you. Lex Kane saying to us, hi, JT, Third Doctor, Ian and Paul. I'm in the lakes till next Friday. I've had a great fish and chips at Fish and Chips restaurant at Keswick called the Kingfisher. If they did a Doctor Who 4-part, it would be great in Keswick. I'm surprised it's never actually happened, to be perfectly honest.
I know.
But there you go.
I know the chip shop. Nice place.
Yeah. We did have a super chat. Did you guys see either of it there? I know I've got one from Mudcrab, which I'll get to in a minute, but I did have another one. Oh, it's Lex. Lex, thank you very much. I'll try and get to you now. Doctor Who fan 001, the celebration of the 60th was a disgrace. Mr. Puzzle, Top Gear and Who made the BBC a global powerhouse. Now they are literally broke. What happened to Top Gear? I don't hear about anything with Top Gear anymore.
Well, it was after they got rid of Jeremy Clarkson, wasn't it? And then they got new presenters, and it wasn't quite the same again. But regardless how you feel about Jeremy Clarkson, you know what I mean? But
they had Chris Evans, didn't they? And he didn't go down well, so they got rid of him.
Right. They
kept the others, and then they changed again, and it was Paddy McGuinness, somebody else, and Freddie Flintoff, the cricketer, and he had a bad accident, and nearly died. And the BBC had to pay him a huge amount of compensation, as I understand, and they canned the programme as a result, because it's not that long since when the original three were doing it. Richard Hammond had quite a bad accident as well, but Flintoff, I mean, he still carries, and always will now, some very heavy facial scars now, and some trauma. He nearly died, and there's video on YouTube of the accident, and it really is quite scary.
Oh, really? No, I didn't realize. So it's actually been axed. It's now closed down. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Thanks for that, Ian. I hadn't. Somehow I've missed that they've actually got rid of it. But thank you for that. Goodness me, that's an update. What else we got here as well? Let's have a look. We've got Mr. Puzzle saying, question on the nation estate Daleks have to appear once a season or expires. Gatwa hasn't faced them at all. I think that actually that agreement fell, was dated. We don't know the full details. I'll have to try and find out, but I think it was for a limited run, and they didn't renew it because Russell didn't want the Daleks in the new series.
It wouldn't surprise me that they'd have to, obviously, Nation's Estate are very canny, because Disney was involved. I know we've said, and you said, JT, that you think the Daleks are problematic. I think there's probably slightly more to it than that, but I think they are problematic. But I think it's all to do with money. I'm sure the Nation's Estate would have wanted to have the Daleks in it, and they asked because Disney were involved for even more money, and they said, no, we won't bother. Too expensive. I bet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me either, because
Yeah.
they're very good business people, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
what have you? I mean, they're still getting money from any Dalek merchandise that's out there, or anything
Yeah.
to do with character options or anything. So it's been a good source of revenue, even through 15 years of the show off air.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be worried. But yeah, I'm sure everything comes down to money in this day and age, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sticksboy73, hello to you. I feel bad that no one is enjoying this season. It's hard to find people like myself that don't talk down to the show. There's so much negativity out there. I wouldn't say it's negativity. I think it's upset. I don't like, I don't like words like positive and negative. I find it very 90s. No disrespect, Sticksboy, but we're just saying what we feel. I would have loved this thing to have worked. But
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't see Doctor Who. I don't see him as the Doctor. It's not there for me. The magic is gone. And all I see is agenda and politics and pushing things that I can't agree with.
Yeah.
Guys?
I mean, we talk about, the comment there is about talking down to the show. But I mean, the show and the showrunners and people involved in it and the lead actor have done nothing but do exactly that to the legions of fans that followed the series for decades.
Yeah.
That made it what it was, that stuck with it when it was off the air, that made it certain that it was going to succeed when it came back because it had all that goodwill. That's the people that the people responsible for it now have been talking down to for such a long time. And it's just frustration of years of this. And it hurts. And eventually you get to a limit and you fire back.
You're right.
And it's long,
And we're all
long
prepared
overdue.
when Ncuti was cast to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And then they came out with
Absolutely.
all this go away nonsense, not for you and all that kind of stuff. And then
Now, that's the
that
important
tarnished how you felt about watching it already.
We have to remember that since 2017, the production teams, namely the showrunner and the lead actor, mainly, have all said, this isn't for you. This is no longer for you. We want a new audience. Go touch grass. This is going to upset you. This is going to upset the diehard fans. This is going to alienate the original fans. Why?
Well, that's my question. Why is it not for us as well?
Yes, and
That's
it
the
should
question.
be. And more importantly, it should be accessible to the bigger picture of the British public and now the worldwide public through Disney. And they didn't do that. They made it for a pandering, minority. So I'm delighted, Sticksboy, that you are enjoying the show. I'm really glad that you're getting something out of it. But we're not on this show, as you can see from our reviews. Next one coming up, of course, live on the channel on Sunday, 8 o'clock. Lex, there's your super chat. Thank you very much. In the awful episode of Lux, did Gatwa use a few regenerations up already? So long and goodbye, awful Gatwa Who. Did he when? I can't remember Lux.
They drained him of some of his regeneration energy for the cartoon character to become sentient, wasn't it? I think that's what happened. And he's probably at the end of his generation already. He's only had how many has he had since Capaldi? Is it 4, 5? I've lost count.
I don't know where
we can but hope, can't we?
Yeah. So
it's terrible, isn't it? But oh god, I've forgotten about that, Lex. Sorry, I must have been asleep by that point, because that was, again, great idea on paper, badly put together. Needs a script editor. Shane Spangler, if it were to come back, have the TARDIS malfunction and strand the narrative on Earth in the 1980s, then it could be done as a period drama with fun, cheeky nods to history and social commentary. I think that the problem with that is, it could do, but it would have to remain sci-fi because it could go into soap territory or Life on Earth or Life on Mars, whatever it was called,
Life
territory.
on Mars.
Yeah,
you'd have to be careful with it. You'd have to do it more like season 7, 8, and 9, I guess, with Pertwee. And you'd have to have the sci-fi element with the threat coming to Earth, and I would only do it for half a series to establish it again. The BBC Books did it though. Do you remember with the McGann Doctor? They had him trapped with amnesia for years, didn't they? People seem to like that.
They went down the route of the destruction of Gallifrey, didn't they? And the TARDIS copped for it as well. But the TARDIS was slowly, over a series of novels, regrowing.
Yeah.
But the Doctor was going through that period of isolation. He was stranded, and he didn't have the TARDIS functioning. And I think in one story where UNIT was involved fighting mythical stuff from Arthurian legend, I think the Doctor actually created a kind of like hut thing that he painted blue to make him feel like he was close to the TARDIS, I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Tactician just clarifying for us, guys. Sorry, I meant we had a great legacy in Doctor Who. Great fans, all lost now. As you said, like what happened to Star Wars. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant as well. But
Cool.
yeah, but now we've got to deal with this element, which personally, I think, we had this real rabid element with the Whittaker era, and you don't hear from them as much now, and they've gone. They've disappeared, haven't they? I wonder as well, when we
dedicated fans.
Well, I think they left when Tennant came back. They all kicked off that
They
he was
did.
back as well,
They
which is
kicked
really
off.
bizarre.
That's what I mean. And I've got this feeling that as we approach a new wilderness years, if you like, which won't be as productive as the original one, I reckon they will all disappear because they'll all grow up and they won't stay with the show like we did. I personally don't think some of them will. Don't get me wrong. People like Stixboy and everybody might just do that. Emilio will, Kirsty will, Miles might. They might just stay with that because they've got that original 4 or 5 years that they loved. But it's going to be different. I reckon it might shed an awful lot of alleged fans right now who are only in it for the DEI or anything like that.
Yeah.
Heretic is saying, my team is West Ham and I cannot wait for the team to be over. I'm sure that means something to you, Ian.
Yeah, they're a Premier League team who we will take great pleasure beating next season.
No idea what he's going about there. It's all bizarre. There's lots of you now talking about football in the chat. Knock it off. I don't understand any of it. What's it all about? Raymond Williams is saying, I will have my son cover framed. Yes, I think there's a lot of fans that will do that. RD Animation Films and Model Builds. Good to see you, mate. Apple TV, Netflix, or Amazon could do a great reboot of Doctor Who. The BBC needs to sell Doctor Who. It would be great to go back to Paul McGann. I don't think the BBC are never going to let it go. And part of me doesn't want them to. Honestly. Part of them wants to, it's not necessarily the BBC, it's the people within the BBC that are destroying the BBC and they don't realize it, or maybe they do and that's why they're there. But I think the BBC can be great again. Whoever heard this before? But I think it could be. It just needs to get rid of the activists.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a lot of them though.
Yeah.
There's too many of them in there, for heaven's sake. Robert Thomas, I think many are ready for another Wilderness Years break. Maybe this will be the fertile ground that the next generation of writers will mine Doctor Who's rich story legacy and inspire the next return. And Watkin, evening. Well, RTD's legacy is in tatters and Ncuti's career is only going to go downhill from here. If you've just joined us, thank you for joining us here on Who's Views for, of course, headlines. We are looking at the headline, the big headline today, where the Sun has said Ncuti Gatwa has been fired from Doctor Who. No surprise for any of us on this show, on this channel, is it, everybody? If it's true, because he finished his contract last year, and why would he go back to it now? He's certainly not going to go back to it in this particular year because he's busy with theatre. But it's well known, certainly more so today, that he isn't popular. The viewing figures say an awful lot. The fan feedback says an awful lot. His agents must be, that's, like I said before, the agents must be livid today, guys.
I'd be interested if Doctor Who Magazine ever does an unbiased doctors poll again to see where people sit, because poor old Colin Baker used to be, at the bottom. I'm interested to see how the new lot would sit if they did it honestly. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and at least Colin's not got the ignominy now of being the only one to ever be sacked, really.
Yeah.
So that's nice that he's got rid of that one. But yeah, at the minute though, I think DWM is only bought by the spineless melts that like this anyway. So they're all going to put Gatwa and then Whittaker right at the top, aren't they? You're going to have to give it a few years.
Well, I remember when they did the 60th anniversary kind of series poll, and they did it by doctor rather than by episodes, so they could not make it look like Jodie's
Whittaker was at the bottom.
awful. Yeah, basically, yeah.
In any decent poll, that's where it's going to be. The bottom,
Yeah.
God knows how many, are going to be Whittaker and Gatwa all the way down the bottom.
Yeah.
Because Caves of Androzani, they have not had. Genesis of the Daleks, they have not had, because it's been about other stuff. It's about shoehorning in real life nonsense into our science fiction show. Huge thank you to Mudcrab for your super chat there. Dimensions and Timeless Children. Nuck. And Elvis77 has given us a super chat. Thank you, mate. Did you hear about the new Doctor Who dolls? More rubbish. Stay with us. If you haven't, stay with us because they're coming up. RD Animation saying to us, The 50th and 60th of Doctor Who anniversaries were missed opportunities. The 50th was rubbish apart from the Tom Baker scene and, of course, the McGann scene episode. We was robbed, I keep saying, on that particular one. I wasn't impressed, unless I remain.
I quite liked an Adventure in Space and Time, though. That was lovely. But,
For the 50th, I enjoyed the thing at the Excel Centre.
What?
For the 50th, I enjoyed the thing at the Excel Centre.
Oh, the convention. Yeah, the convention.
and of course, we got Web of Fear and End of the World back as well. That was the best part.
Oh,
of that.
yeah.
Was that then?
In the 50th, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it really? It seems like
Good timing.
yesterday. Oh, goodness me. Sean Cares with us. Hello, Sean. How are you? I got really emotional when Susan appeared in the last episode, and more because I am deeply worried what they will do with her. I'm more worried about what they're going to start doing with her from tomorrow. Carol Ann Ford is in the next 2 episodes. Yeah, I'm a bit worried myself. As I said on Wednesday, I think it was, what if they regenerate her? They brought her back deliberately to regenerate her. What if they've done that and therefore proved then that she's a Time Lord?
I think she could be the baddie, but that's just my theory. But
do you? What if she turns into Susan Twist's character?
Oh God, really?
Anything is possible now. The more outrageous the idea, I think, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it seems very plausible, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. It's absolutely. And how do they write her out again now? Where are they going to drop her off?
Yeah.
Grizz Redford.
Maybe the Doctor will drop her off with another boyfriend somewhere again.
Well, reset and the reset at the end of the episode, and she'll never have been there. It will have all been a dream. If only this last 10 years was a dream.
Well, it could well be one day, and we never know. We live in hope.
Capaldi coming back? Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
There's no way, after the way he was treated, that he's ever coming back to Doctor Who. Let's put it that way. And quite rightly too. We're with Capaldi. Grizz Redford, trap him in Victorian times with the Paternoster gang.
Too Moffat and Twee.
Yeah, I think their day's done. And I wouldn't
and
want
again,
to.
It's same DEI, isn't it? It's a monster, but it's a lesbian monster. You know, it's just like, no, we need to move on.
We do need to move. We need a clean slate, I
The
think.
Strack's a lesbian. That's a new one to me.
What else we got here?
It could have been.
Guys, there are lots of people joining us in the chat. So a huge thank you to everybody joining us in the chat. Great to see you all. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and come and listen to our nonsense more regular. Mark Reeves to say, can I ask, does the BBC have to ask the nation state if they want to redesign the Daleks like the stupid huge ones in the Smith era? Ian, Man United. No, they don't, because the BBC part owns the look of the Daleks. So as far as my understanding goes, and please correct me if I am wrong, they can actually redesign them any way they want to. And as long as the nation state sort of say, but the nation state don't nearly necessarily say, have the power of veto. Hence why we got the Teletubby Daleks.
Yeah. They were mad to do that. It's an iconic image. They shouldn't change it.
Oh, God.
But the way, again, as you were alluding to before, the way I would do, if I was in the nation state right now, anything that was a new design would go, that's going to make more money.
Yeah.
But that's how I would do it, being very, very honest.
Somebody thought, I don't know if the Teletubby Daleks sold for character options very well, did they? I don't know if they did.
Not brilliantly.
We all hated them, didn't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah. So. But why would you redesign the Daleks? It's been proved it doesn't work. So
I mean, the subtle redesign of bringing them back in Dalek was superb. That was really good. And it was very faithful to a mixture of classic and the movie Daleks. But the Teletubby ones were so far removed, they were just embarrassing.
Well, you broke the silhouette, didn't you? Which you never did with the other ones. But I remember the Doctor Who Confidential episode after that with Moffat and Gatiss talking away and saying, well, you have to redesign the Daleks, don't you? It's like, no, you don't. The arrogance that was there was just off the scale. But, I mean, just to reference Mark Greaves, then I feel his pain for his sadness this week. And I look forward to playing them next season twice. And I'm sure there'll be great games.
Yeah, whatever that means.
I won't
Lex
mention
Kane,
football
thank
again.
you. Thank you for your super chat, Lex. Hopefully be filming late summer, early autumn. The first two-parter story of a fan Doctor Who project. The first episode is called The Deception Part 1. Lex, make sure that you let us know about that, because I think that's where we're heading to. Of course, we've also got Phil's Doctor Who film coming out, haven't we? All inspired there. So, yeah, if you are out there and you are involved in a new fan project, get in touch. whosviews1@gmail.com. Let us know what you're doing. Please. Pete Merritt is saying to us, Doctor Who magazine is just as woke as the show. Again, because it's been the team there, I would say, from what I see from it now, are all part of this nonsense. I mean, even the editor is questionable in my eyes.
Infiltration, I think it's called.
Yeah,
And they
I
all
think
kiss
it
the arse,
is.
don't they? They're all kissing the arse of the people that feed them with all this stuff because they're desperate not to lose the license. Well, I've got news; it might be happening because the sales figures allegedly are down. Right. Gav B. Hello, Gav B. Colin Baker. Gav B. Colin Baker's era can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I
There's
say it
even
again.
Twin Dilemma's better than this nonsense, isn't it?
I will never ever. Look. When we start doing the reviews again of old Doctor Who's, including things like the Twin Dilemma and Time Flight and all that sort of stuff, I will never ever go and slack it off, and because it's a gem, it's masterclass of writing and production compared to this nonsense that we've had over the last 2 years, you know. And I'm going to say it. I'll watch the Twin Dilemma over and over and over again before I have to watch any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Again.
But you draw the line at Dimensions of Time. I understand. That's fine.
Anyway, we'll move on.
Watch it, Paul. You're pushing it.
Lots of you here with this. But yeah, this is what we're talking about there. I mean, I don't even feel, guys, any sympathy for Ncuti Gatwa at all. I've just really, especially with the Eurovision sort of stuff, where you can just put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4, I think.
Yeah.
About what he's done there. I've got no respect for him. Not only did he mess up the characterization of the Doctor, not only did he relish the high-kicking career stuff, not only is he part of the TQ cult for me, but now it seems that he's part of a very misinformed, nasty people. I don't know what I can say, what I can't say on this platform anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I get the impression, and again, it's my opinion, not speaking for the channel, but it's my impression that Ncuti Gatwa is a very nasty, very agenda-driven, and clearly, to me, comes across as very anti-Semitic, and I don't like any of those elements, so I don't like him. And that's not even what he's done with Doctor Who.
Yeah, this is it. This is what I don't like. The fact that you can put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4. And it seems pretty clear. And again, it doesn't surprise me because that's the industry. Yeah. That's what they're all like now. They all think that. How have we gotten to this place? How have we got to this? But where, you know, I think it's sad where we are now.
It's very sad. Yeah.
I think we got here through care in the community. As soon as you started letting the nut jobs out of the asylums, then it was downhill from there.
Yeah. I don't know. I find it all very sad, and I think it's very sad where we're up to now with our beloved show. I really, really do. Yeah. What else can we say? So that's the big headline today about all this, isn't it? So lots of you in the chat, as I say, joining us. Thank you very much for all your chaps here. Let's say hello to, this is Dap Ablo. Nice to see you. Dalek trim would need adjusting through time, maybe. And Bill Silver saying, remember Ray Cusick describing the 2005 TARDIS console room as a dog's breakfast to do? Yeah. Yes. He wasn't impressed at all, was he? That was a brilliant. They were not expecting that, were they? They were expecting them to go, oh, you're all wonderful, you're all marvelous, and he goes, oh, that's bloody rubbish. Quite good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him, I say. Have they still got that on tape, do you think?
Oh, they have, yes. I think it's an extra on one of the DVDs, I think, yeah.
Fantastic. Gav B saying to us, Twin Dilemma is an effing masterpiece. Compared to all this nonsense, it really is.
It is indeed, yeah.
And Duncan the Funky Evans saying, I remember when Doctor Who magazine was amazing. Went to the 20th anniversary convention for the magazine. Yeah, and Matthew Pounder saying to us, DWM staff all had to go on that training course a few years back. Reason why the magazine sucks. And also because of who they're hiring. One of whom we're going to be looking at in a very short while, actually, so stay with us. Keep all your comments coming, everybody, because as has already been mentioned in the chat, not only was that the big story of the day, but there was some positivity for if you are a Ncuti Gatwa fan, because yes. Oh, and I just actually, before we move on, I need to say that there were there was something from the BBC. I've taken this one from LBC, .co.uk. Doctor Who bosses deny claims star Ncuti Gatwa has been axed from the show. This is just to give you that balance. The BBC actually did say something today, and it was usual stuff at all, that they don't talk about the future of the Doctor or Doctor Who. They don't discuss this. But the quote that got me from the few media outlets here in the UK that have actually reported the BBC's response to the Sun headline today on the front page. This is what I'm quoting. Any suggestion that Ncuti Gatwa has been axed is pure fiction. However, that doesn't necessarily mean he hasn't left.
Yeah.
Mm.
He is out of contract right now, so currently, yeah.
The trouble with this, if they actually stated clearly what they meant and didn't do all this sort of kind of vague political kind of answers, then it would be less speculation. If they said he's gone, we're getting a new Doctor, he's regenerating at the end of the season, go and watch that and enjoy that. But just be honest, for God's sake. It's crazy.
Wow.
Or are they just playing with words again? If surely is Gatwa not a Bad Wolf employee, and therefore is not the BBC's to sack? Don't know.
Well, as somebody said in the chat, you can't sack him if he's not in contract.
Yeah.
So what the BBC, it's all about the words and how you look at the words, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the big thing about this right now is they said any suggestion that Ncuti Gatwa has been axed is pure fiction. So they've actually more or less said nobody sacked him. Maybe they haven't. He's come to the end of his contract. He's finished. It doesn't mean he's going to get renewed for another year or another 2 years, does it?
Christ, so they are going to make it really meta. He's going to be sacked, and is Michael Gray the villain in this, the big bad at the end? He's going to fire him.
Anything is possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we now know, and we're going to be seeing again in a couple of minutes. Cough, cough, cough. BS, cough, cough, says Duncan the Funky Evans. Flying Car 100 saying if they had it as axed in that headline, that implies he's leaving, but that he wasn't axed. In the same way, says Gav B, that Clarkson was fired from Top Gear. The fact that they're not honest with anybody for whatever reason, it's not going to harm the show now because no bugger cares about the show and nobody's watching it. No. Julianne is saying to us, I've mentally decanonized RTT2 and regard everything since 2005 as an alternative universe, so I'm much happier now. Much the same as myself, Julianne, really. Similar lines there. Matthew Pound is saying he hasn't been sacked. He stepped down. And David B saying, yeah, you can't be axed if you're already out of contract. All makes sense to me, guys.
Yeah.
Was he before this happened? Was he fired before, or did he leave of his own volition? Or was he already always been 2 years contracted and that was it? You don't know. Could it be like?
Well, he had a contract for so many episodes. It wasn't by years. It was the same with the Disney one. Surely you're going to do so many episodes, not including the Sea Devil thing, allegedly. Yeah. You're going to do that. Once you come to that, that's your contract done. So he had so many episodes in there, didn't he? Yeah. That's it. And he did it.
Often though, sometimes don't they kind of have the option, like say they booked him for 5 years and had the option to renew that contract. If they're not renewing it because they don't think he's suitable to continue, then why have they not renewed it, you think? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the way we used to do it. Oh, here's a 3-year deal with an option on a 4th. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the way they're doing it now, especially when they've only got so much money and they knew at the time Disney's going to pay us for this much. We don't know what's going to go afterwards. We have to wait for the ratings and the reviews.
But if it was a rip-roaring success, surely they'd be biting his hand off to bring him back, wouldn't they?
If it was a rip-roaring success, Disney would have said, "There's another few million."
Exactly.
BBC Studios would have said, "There's a few thousand."
Yeah. here's 20 quid. Do what you can with it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But nobody has, and the fact that they're not being honest and they're trying to cover it all up is nonsense. We've also got Mr. Puzzle said, or does the BBC doesn't want to appear racist because they fired him? The BBC just wants it to look smooth. That's another possibility.
Well, it's quite sad that would be considered to be racist because they fired him because he's a gentleman of colour. That seems bizarre that we'd do that anyway.
Well, they would though, especially the minority.
Yeah,
and the industry itself. I mean, look at the hassles I'm getting through the stage Facebook for saying LGBT without the CQ, same-sex attracted matters are vital here. They don't care. It's because they're on that particular bandwagon right now.
I mean, we don't know, do we, if the BBC had a separate contract with him for something else, an unknown future project. And one of the first parts of that was he was doing the thing for Eurovision, because that was nothing to do with his Doctor Who role. And pulling out of that, they may have said, right, we're cancelling your contract because, you know, 2 anti-Semitism related rows in the same week for the BBC is a bad look. And maybe they canned him on that. And Doctor Who's just got the association. Maybe,
yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it's all speculation on our part now as well, but it's all going to come out one day. It always does.
That's what happens if they're not honest, isn't it? That's what happens if they're not honest and everybody lies. You get speculation.
Of course you do.
It's human nature.
Time you were honest.
Yeah.
Lex, latest super chat. Thank you very much. Gatwa, you've never been the Doctor. Bye, Gatwa. And hello and welcome to Who's Views, the Fan Attic. Speak for yourself, mate. I still have a love for the show and continue to watch. I'm just not impressed with the current storylines. Same as all of us. Yeah. We love the show as well. We were desperately hoping this would be an all-round classic. We're not impressed with the current storylines. I'll add for myself as well. I'm not impressed with the production team. I'm not impressed with the actor that they've chose. I'm just not impressed with any of it, quite frankly. I find it dull, boring, and lacks any essence of what I know Doctor Who to be. And I would say as well that it doesn't know what it wants to be, and it's got no audience. I don't know where you're from, Fanatic, but if you're in the UK, you must know there's no audience here for it. No audience. It's sad days because we love really
sad. I mean, I agree. I don't see the Doctor in him at all. I think he's no gravitas. I don't think he's right for the part. As you said, JT's been miscast. Another miscast after Jodie. It's awful, and it's a shame because the show's got massive potential. Has the biggest budget it's ever had, and they've squandered it completely. You know.
Paul. Sorry, minor thing. Mavitas.
I'll say yes. Yeah, he's no Mavitas. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Keep forgetting that. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, they mentioned it last.
It's easily forgotten, isn't it? Really, let's be fair.
Because it's such a fantastic idea, isn't it? Yeah.
And again, it's probably not going to get explained. Just like why they race swapped Sir Isaac Newton won't get explained. Yeah. It just is because they don't have to, because that's what's missing here. Their superiority. They're talking down to the no wonder millions have switched off. No wonder millions of fans have gone. No wonder I'm finding it bloody boring every week for this reviewing. I can't wait till we can get back. Don't forget, coming up very soon after we've got this nonsense out of the way here on the channel, Battlefield and the Sea Devils. We're going to be reviewing them and going back. And honestly, I can't wait to even watch Battlefield now, because I will never slag it off as much as I did in the 1990s.
I love Battlefield. Yeah,
it's got some good stuff in it. The Destroyer would look good even now.
The Destroyer is fabulous this day, but we are going to be come and join us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'd love you to subscribe. Thank you so much. Lots of you with us tonight. And have you seen this? Because as I say, yes, if you are, and don't forget, it's all speculation, this thing today. It's what some of us, especially on this channel, have been saying for ages. So what will be next Saturday in the reality war, and therefore have to stay with us, because we're all going to come back and we're all going to talk about why this episode next week is 75 minutes. Oh God, I better stock up on ice cream. But yes, if you were upset about this today, there was some good news for you if you are a real true devotee of the Ncuti Gatwa era, because yes, he's gone and got himself a dolly. Announced today was this: as Barbie joins the Whoniverse. Apparently, this thing scares the life out of me, by the way. This is just absolutely weird. Barbie joins the Whoniverse with the intergalactic reveal of the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday dolls, said the press release, which then swiftly went on to its, its Facebook page. Look at this thing.
Yeah, I think it looks better as a dolly than he does in real life, to be honest.
The eyes are weird, but why does it say 1973?
That's the Doctor Who logo.
Ah, see, right.
Right, okay.
What's interesting, I mentioned this to you when I was chatting to you earlier, JT, about they keep going with this image of him in the leather coat, right? Which clearly, obviously, was the image they were going to go for, and then they chickened out because they keep coming back to this on merchandise and on annuals and books and whatever, but they didn't stick with it. Why didn't they not do that? That would have been a huge difference.
It's such a shame because it's more iconic that that look he's wearing there, even on the doll. You know,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the look of the long coat, the trousers, even the trainers.
Yeah.
I mean, RTD made another horrific mistake there, didn't he? But these figures were released, and the man himself has seen it recently as well. Here he is from the BBC Studios website. There he is, finding his dolly
What on earth
here.
is he wearing? What's he wearing, for goodness sake? What the hell is that?
God
This is
knows.
designer stuff again, isn't he? This man lives through designers.
I thought it was a boiler suit he was wearing for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this again, all this designer stuff that he wears and stuff here for all these events. I think he was going. I think that's an outfit he wore at some sort of award ceremony. I might be wrong,
Yeah.
or some sort of function or something.
He'll get paid to wear it, won't he? That's the thing.
I would imagine so. But you know,
Yeah.
this generation that he's part of, they are. I mean, Material Girl is what I always think of. That song. I mean, it's more relevant today than it ever was in the 80s. You know.
Yeah.
There's another one of him. So it's quite a
Why
large.
would he get so Why would he get so excited about a children's doll of a character he stopped playing over a year ago?
Well, he's still doing the favor, isn't he? Of
Yeah.
whatever
He's
it
not
is.
been
still
very
interesting,
present for
isn't
anything
it?
else, has he?
What's interesting about it is the fact this has come out now, right, at the end of his tenure, potentially. It's a bizarre timing, don't you think? It really is.
It really is.
Today is bizarre timing, and I'm sure it was planned today. I'm sure this was, you know, something here. You can, if you want to, if you're brave enough, you can go to their social media and see a video of Ncuti holding up the dollies and just saying how brilliant they are, because they are coming out in July. This 2 doll tribute featuring Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor and Ruby Sunday. Yes, you can get them from all the usual stockists, I would imagine, as well. But definitely from the ones that you know. All the links if you are looking at this. The press release said Ncuti Gatwa shares his first reactions to the doll and what this means to him. Then it goes on to say Barbie celebrates time and space with dolls of the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday, featuring character likenesses of Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. Making its intergalactic debut at MCM London Comic Con on Friday the 23rd of May will be Mattel Creations exclusively unveiling the new Barbie Doctor Who dolls at the show and sharing the first reaction from the Doctor himself, Ncuti Gatwa. Now, bearing in mind they did this for Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And allegedly it didn't sell that well. So
I think Ncuti's wearing the same trousers, I think.
Possibly. With the costume inspired by Series 1 that debuted in 2024 and sculpted in the character likenesses of Ncuti Gatwa, who stars as the Doctor, and Millie Gibson, who plays Ruby Sunday, this fan-first reveal at MCM London Comic Con marks a thrilling continuation of Barbie brand's legacy into pop culture and storytelling. They've done quite a lot, apparently, of all these sorts of things. In a special reaction video that was revealed today, again, you can go and see it on the Doctor Who socials, Gatwa shared his thoughts on seeing his Barbie doll for the first time. Barbie is iconic, he said. So to see a Barbie iteration of the Doctor was emotional, surreal, incredible, and I can't wipe the smile off my face. I hope kids out there are able to enjoy the doll and then see themselves in it. Here we go with all this stuff. And I think I can do anything. Change the bloody record, people. I can't. Honestly, guys, I can't stand this anymore. It goes on to say these highly detailed Barbie dolls bring the Doctor and Ruby to life through signature styling and authentic detail. The Barbie 15th Doctor doll features a face sculpted in the likeness of Ncuti Gatwa. He wears an iconic look with a striped shirt, sleek pants, a long brown jacket, and white sneakers. This design captures the bold, expressive energy of the Doctor. Should we look at that again? Does it?
Oh, yes. He looks like an action man, doesn't he? You know,
well,
it's more like an Eddie Murphy Beverly Hills Cop doll.
Yes, he does. Wow. Yeah. Maybe like the Tom Baker doll in the 70s. They got their heads mixed up. Who knows?
Well, listen. if you are a gay man in the chat or watching this, you may remember if you were around in the 90s, a gay doll called Billy and his boyfriend, whatever he was called. And they had various outfits, guys. It was a very camp thing that was going on. It was a bit of a cult thing. And one was a leather look, all this sort of stuff. And he was a big butch thing. And it looked like that. And I think Mattel might have to look at it because you could get the dolls in all sorts of, you know, variations of white, pink, and brown and black and all the usual stuff. Way before it was woke to be woke, you know, and it was called Billy. So if any of you in the chat remember him and got it, well, there you go. That's when I saw this doll, I thought, oh, here we go. There it is. I remember Billy.
Do they have to have a retail price for these dollies?
We do. We'll come into that in a second.
Yeah, okay.
According to the perhaps the press release for the
He's
second.
keen to buy 3, obviously. And,
I am.
and Bedweir will get 3, won't he?
Already, I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Still in two still in the box.
The Barbie Ruby Sunday doll, the press release carries on, sculpted in the likeness of Millie Gibson, is dressed in a furry trimmed jacket, a red shirt, a plaid skirt, black tights and boots. The ensemble reflects Ruby's style and spirit as the Doctor's first companion. And here she is.
oh,
Hi. Hi there. My name's Ruby. What's
Is
your
that-
name?
It's actually Barbie's head taken from another Barbie, is it?
They've just done the eyebrow, haven't they? And that's it,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There they are, everybody.
That together they're very creepy. They're like it's like what's Chucky? Very Chucky-esque, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
The
think
stars
they're
of the
the
next
latest
series of Doctor Who,
line.
those two dolls, they'll all come to life like in Toy Story.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the latest line in Autumn Killer Dolls, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. Let's have a look quickly in the chat to see what we go on through. Life Size from Japan says to Pablo, don't even start that one. The Forbidden Man says, does he come with a hanky? Very probably.
I bet if he squeezes him, he cries. I bet he does. Yeah.
A lot of people asking on the Facebook page today, I saw, does it cry like Tiny Tears used to? Lots of you in the chat. Goodness me, keep it going, keep it going. Looks nothing like Millie, says Julianne. Does Ruby come life-size doll at Lives Matter? Get in the corner, stop that immediately. Domgo is saying, why have Mattel wasted money on this shice? Because they think they're going to get it all back. What's Bill saying to us here? With RTD's views on Davros made clear was his decision to not bring back the Daleks down to his sphere. It would lead to demonizing people in mobility scooters. That has probably got something to do with it as well. Yeah. They are problematic. It wouldn't surprise me. Stephen Braddock saying those dolls remind me of Funtime Freddy from Are You Being Served? Okay. I think there should be a Tiny Tears version, says Sheila B in the Devotions. Dom goes saying unwanted plastic that is destroying our environment. Thor Behind is also
and then the
saying,
dolls as well. Yeah.
A lot of them coming on with this. A Tiny Tears doll would be more appropriate, says Thor Behind. Steve Hindley is saying, oh, Tiny Tears, yes. I want to break free, says Matthew Pounder. That's a reference, of course, to Freddie from Queen.
Yeah, he does look a bit like Freddie. It's the moustache, isn't it? Yeah,
it's the moustache that does it. You're right there.
Yeah.
Fanatic saying it's definitely not of the quality you'd see in Sideshow toys or Hot Toys, more like a 1970s Mego doll. Hey, apparently Fanatic, they're worth a bit of money. Is that right? I was seeing something about that on a Facebook page the other day with some of the Mego. We didn't get many of them over here in the UK, but I know there was a range of things, wasn't there, in the 70s of superheroes mainly, and some of them are worth money, guys. Yeah. Apparently, wow! I wish I'd known that when I saw them in Liverpool Market. Sheila B is saying, coming to a charity shop near you soon. Where did I see a range of Jodie Whittaker Barbie dolls for something ridiculous like $12.99? I can't remember where it was, but they had I think it might have been Forbidden Planet. And they had a range of them and they hadn't sold and they were really expensive and they were something like $12, $14.99, something like that. And I just thought, look at the dust. It was a bit like Larry Grayson. Look at the dust in here. Because you could do it. And I literally went like that.
Ugh. It was more topsoil than dust, wasn't it? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because they've been there for so long, reduced in price. Tim Kins, hi mate. I thought about going to this weekend's Comic-Con and asking David Tennant to sign my Genius game poster, but it was too expensive.
Genius. I bet, yeah. Wonder how much he's charging though. I wonder. Yeah.
He's got bloody nerve though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bloody nerve. Great to see you all. Thank you for that. I don't think any of them are going to be looking out at getting these dolls. Fan01ish, will they do a range of clothes for the Barbie Doctor so we can dress him up in skirts and all the other iconic fashions he has thrilled us with over the course of his wonderful, successful tenure? Well, no, you just have to go and buy the Barbie clothes for that one.
Yeah. You get your Barbie camper van, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
His and Millie's will just be interchangeable.
Yeah. But the Barbie camper van could be the TARDIS.
It could be, yeah.
The chameleon circuit working again.
Ooh. I'm surprised they're not fixed that. That'll come in the finale, no doubt, yeah.
Oh God! Don't give them ideas. They can still fit a reshoot in for next week. Don't do it.
Oh, they can. Yeah.
Hello to Jacob RM and Jack Dexter is with us as well. Axed after 2 series, wasn't it? Effectively 1 recording block with a 2-week break halfway through. Yes, Jack, it was. It absolutely was. And then split into 2 to get one in 1 year and one in the next year. At least that way he can say he's done 2 years Unlike Eccleston, who's done one, who everybody seems to go back to in the media, don't they? Oh, Eccleston did 1 year. He did 14 episodes.
At least that was good.
Yeah, but also he would have come back if it hadn't been for the stories we're now hearing about. He would have done a second.
Yeah.
Shocking. Scarier than the Autons. Oh, Limekins, behave yourself. That's naughty. And Dalek Eye is saying to me, JT, I've just checked Billy the Gay Doll. They are collectibles and selling up to £1,400. Don't tell me that. I wish I bought one now. I remember saying to my ex, my fella at the time, now my ex, obviously, look at this crap. But they were everywhere in Soho in London, these Billy dolls, because it was and they got, there was even a comic strip about them because they became sort of like a cult thing. And I remember saying to him, look at this crap. Who's going to buy this? I wish I had now if they were selling. I'd sell it, no problem. He wore a nice sailor outfit as well, which was very similar to one I had. We won't go into that at the moment. We'll save that for Christmas.
Was that when you were?
Was that? I'm saying? Okay, right. So.
Was that when you were cosplaying Ben Jackson, who was Polly?
Of course it was. Yes.
Yeah. That's the only reason I could think of.
I used to work in a very popular bar at the time, which was then a gay bar called the Gloucester, which was infamous at the time. It was the turn of the century. That's when I worked in it. And we used to do the odd dress-up nights. We did the carry-on night, where I was the Bernard Bresslaw, was trying to be Barbara Windsor, but I couldn't get the bloody nurse's uniform fastened, and I couldn't walk in the high heels either. I was like, oh God, so I ended up in the docks and Doc Martens. Anyway, and we did for some reason. We did the sailor night, and I can't remember why that was now. But anyway, might save that for the Who's Views annual next year. Fanatic is with us saying, yes, absolutely. Some of these Mego action figures from the 70s are worth quite a bit now. Amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. And Stephen Braddock is saying no to the Barbie things. I'll wait for the next classic Vortex figure. Well, I put it to you, Who viewers. What if the next classic Vortex figure isn't the Tom Baker one I'm expecting, but is the Rani's sonic screwdriver?
Yeah. Could be.
I put it to you.
And you think there'll be an Archie Punjabi figure to go with it, you think?
Well, just saying.
I mean, this concept that a sonic screwdriver was just some kind of tool that every Time Lord is issued with. I mean, it wasn't, was it? It was just something
the Doctor's invention, wasn't it?
He didn't carry weapons. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just expecting it now because there's 4 more to come of the Vortex things, exclusive to character options, and I'm expecting, because the Rani has got a sonic screwdriver. Most of us would have seen it this week. I'm expecting that, and I'm expecting, like with the Missy characters, a box set of her. So yeah, yes, I'm expecting it within the next 2 weeks, everybody, so stay with us. Go on, Paul, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, so you do have a retail price for the Barbie shooting.
I do, and I've been putting it off telling you because I want you all to have a quick stiff drink, madam.
Because I imagine it's going to be, how many arms and legs is it going to be? Yes.
Jason Parker is saying the Gatwa doll was giving me Billy doll also vibes. Those who know what a Billy doll is know. I've explained it now. So there you go, Jason. And Jess is saying, Billy, the world's first out and proud gay doll, also known as the Billy doll and Billy the Gay doll, is a doll introduced in the US in 1997. That's right. Marketed for the adults, the doll was anatomically correct. Well, not in my experience.
If he was a dolly, perhaps not. Yeah.
Honestly.
It's all about scale, isn't it? That's the thing. So, yeah.
We used to go around, guys, saying we've yet to meet the man that was mulled on. Still waiting, by the way, everybody, as well. Watkin is saying £90 for an autograph, probably. I think it's probably more than that because he is expensive. And Barry Jones, hello, Barry. How are you? How about a series of TV movies spaced throughout the year and featuring the occasional past incarnations? Personally, I wouldn't want to see any of the previous Doctors, Barry. I wouldn't say no, however, to 4 or 5 TV movies a year with a brand new Doctor and a new look to the series. But I would still prefer, personally, Barry, a return to 30-minute episodes per year. And maybe not many of them, anywhere between, you're going to hate me, 14 and 20. That's what I'd say. But anyway, to ask, Paul's desperate.
I'm desperate, just to...
Desperate.
Flabbergasted. Yeah.
You are.
Have a guess, Paul. Have a guess.
Go on.
I don't know.
How much is it going to be?
60 quid each. I don't know.
Oh,
I'd say 49.99.
I've not seen any of these, so I'm just stabbing in
No,
the dark.
me neither.
Yeah, so
$71.99 for.
that wasn't too bad. Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah. They get a pencil for that. Money there, so yeah.
$71.99 if you want this. $71.99. He comes in a box which is got the TARDIS, the current TARDIS console room as we know it, behind him. You can find all the details if you want it, and on the, you know where to go, the website and all that sort of stuff. But there you have it. There you have it. That was the other bit of news out today. Very badly
They're
timed.
never going to get that for them, surely.
It's not worth 71 pins, is it?
No, exactly.
$71.99, everybody. There you go. Garbage.
Is that for just one figure, not for two of them?
No, that's for one.
So Millie is 71 as well, then.
Yeah.
These people are crazy. They're never going to get
crazy.
that. Yeah.
I tell you who else is crazy, all of us, because we are sticking with the last two episodes of this particular season of Doctor Who. It's now time for us to have a look at the forthcoming episode, which, as you all know, is called Wish World. Tony Graydon, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for for being in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for joining us with your chats. Let's have a look at this together. The new Doctor Who magazine was released yesterday. This is it here. And as we reported in April, it does have a re-release of the very elusive Target book, The Wheel in Space, written by Uncle Terry Dix. A lot of you will be considering getting it. Just to let you know, it's $10.99. $10.99 for the book. Yeah, there you go. If you're getting it, good for you. I'm sure this will be a big seller for them, because a lot of people, guys, I think will go and get it just purely for the Wheel of Space and then bin the magazine.
Yeah.
But let's have a look inside it, shall we? Thank you to a mate of mine for these, because here we've got here Wish World and the Reality War as previewed together in this issue of Doctor Who magazine. In a nutshell, it says John Smith and his wife Belinda Chandra wake up in their family home with their daughter on a seemingly normal day. They watch Conrad Clark on their television and sit down for breakfast before Smith heads off for a day of work. But when Ruby Sunday turns up at their front door questioning his identity, it's only a matter of time before the truth is revealed. Just what is the Wish World and what awaits in the Underverse? Well,
Great, more soap, lovely, yeah.
There goes the first 5 minutes before the pre-title sequence. Thank you, Doctor Who magazine. Appreciate that. Let's get into what it says, shall we, everybody? Because here we go. Stay with me. It's been quite the wild journey, apparently, according to Doctor Who magazine, in the TARDIS these past few months. It began how some incredible Doctor Who stories start, with a kidnapping. We were then thrown into the vortex, bounced off 24th of May 2025, and sent into adventures galore. We met a living cartoon, battled an old enemy, and even attended the Interstellar Song Contest. Oh, and we took a little pit stop to hang out with Ruby Sunday. It's been one hell of a journey home, and it's not over yet. Can you see who's written this yet? I'll let you keep guessing.
Oh, it's been one hell of a journey, that's for sure. Yeah.
As Doctor Who finales go, this one is pretty huge. But you've already guessed that, didn't you? Because we now know who Mrs. Flood is. After years of speculation about the Time Lady's return, the Rani is truly back, stunningly played, post-Bi-Regeneration, by both Anita Dobson and Archie Punjabi, causing havoc for the first time since the 80s. And not only that, Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter, who has been absent from our screen since the Five Doctors in 1983, has finally returned to the Whoniverse. Unless you count, like Paul does, the charity skit Dimension in Times, I'll say that again, the charity skit Dimensions in Time, in which case both Time Ladies last appeared on screen in 1993. But still, it's been ages. Are you keeping up? Now, the fact that it says there that Susan is a Time Lady makes me even more worried.
Yeah.
Are you keeping up? Because there are more reveals to come. The Doctor now lives with Belinda, and Mel Bush lives next door. Everyone is getting ready to celebrate May Day on May the 24th, and there's an awful lot of mug smashing going on. Oh, and giant beasts made of bone now tower above London, walking the horizon of the city. How does Conrad Clark, Ruby's fake ex-boyfriend and avid conspiracy theorist last seen in Lucky Day, fit into all of this? If that sounds bonkers, we haven't even scratched the surface. It's a wild ride, wilder than it's ever been before, says Doctor Who's head writer RTD. Here we go again, everybody. It's a very epic story, but it gets very personal very quickly. It takes some very unexpected turns. The stakes are high, again, and it isn't an exaggeration to say they might be the highest they've ever been. Here we go. Be careful with this. Can the finale be summed up in 3 words? Big, new, and intimate, RTD teases. There are big surprises for the Doctor and for the Doctor. Some of it shakes up the lore of Gallifrey. Some of it recontextualizes the Doctor, the Rani, and their relationship. Fans have been speculating since Christmas 2023, following every little hint that might have been. Oh, sorry, to Ruby. Oh, I don't know where it's gone there. Well, I'll move on. I don't know where that's gone with that particular edition. It dropped throughout the 15 Doctors there. Some of these plot points are finally tied together in these episodes. There's a lot of there's a lot I've been weaving in this time around. RTD tells us about his approach to writing the 2025 finale. By the time the last episode of the series airs, you'll be able to see what a full circle has been, how elements from the Church of Ruby Road are even paid off. It's rewarding for long-term fans, but exciting for new viewers as well. I don't believe that at all. But as we all know by now, there's always a twist at the end. There's a lot that you won't be able to guess until you've seen episode 8. Even towards the end of episode 7, you'll get the impression that something else is going on. And the Doctor couldn't battle these twists and turns without his friends. Belinda, Ruby, Mel, and the unit gang are all on hand to help. They sort of look like innocent bystanders to a great big cosmic battle, RTD says, but it's a way more complicated than that. Episode 8 really highlights the 3 main personalities of this era, bringing them together and echoing the Stolen Earth and Journey's End team of 2008. He's repeating himself again, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, does nothing but.
Ruby Sunday, the 15th Doctor's first companion, played by Millie Gibson, is front and centre. Millie's got some huge stuff coming up. In the reality war, that's next week, she's got the finest scene she's ever done. Everyone gets great moments, but when the focus swings over to Ruby, to a very unexpected moment, she's just absolutely magnificent. You would not guess that Millie's only 20 years old, ruling a set like that. This doesn't mean we won't be getting time with the Doctor's latest companion, Belinda Chandra. She gets a moment of sacrifice that is so heartbreaking and brave. If everything you expect of a great companion, RTD reveals. Belinda has been with us for just 6 episodes, and she's already a fan favourite. Really?
Is she?
Listen to this. You can hear the great pantheon of Rose Tyler, Sarah Jane Smith, and Susan Foreman applauding her across the decades. I would never put her in the same camp as Sarah or Susan. Never.
Never.
She's instantly forgettable. What about Gatwa, who has taken the 15th Doctor to such wonderful heights throughout this season? It's the most personal. It's the most personal and heartbreaking for him. It's the toughest. My God, you can throw anything at that actor, and he comes out singing. The 2025 finale holds space for a lot of Doctor Who's history, with references sown throughout that will please faithful viewers, bringing together many parts of the Whoniverse in a way that might remind some of a Marvel movie. That is what somehow makes it feel so new, despite the exploration of the show's lore, because these Doctor Who concepts fully understand the richness of the show for fresh audiences. It does what Doctor Who absolutely does best. It feels like a film with massive ideas while staying true to the same cozy old show we know and love. At the time of writing, 2 days before Lux is due to be broadcast, RTD tells us that the final episode of this season is still incomplete. I had to watch the final mix of episode 8 in a hotel last night in London. We're still finishing it now in mid-April. I was watching it at 2 a.m, writing notes in pencil on the hotel notepad. So tonight, on the 17th of April, we'll sign off the final mix. We're right to the wire on it. This is not only due to the complicated and glorious VFX of the reality war, but also because Doctor Who composer and legend, apparently, Murray Gold, has recently been struck down by appendicitis. He's fine, by the way. It did shift our schedules a bit. He's Murray Gold, so everyone just waited. And all these bumps in the road got smoothed by a very hard-working team. And the best news, the reality war is going out live on BBC One without dropping on BBC iPlayer or Disney Plus beforehand, so everyone can simultaneously watch that hard work pay off. It'll be the first exclusive debut of a Doctor Who episode on live television since the Church on Ruby Road, just like the old times. It's a great big BBC premiere, and everyone at the BBC moved heaven and earth to pull it off. It shouldn't be that difficult, surely. It will be shown in some cinemas too, because there are so many shocks and surprises. So hold tight, everyone. RTD has one final message before we strap in for this 2-part extravaganza. I do think with season finales that it's time to stop worrying about newness and just have fun with what you've got. It's about saying this show is 62 years old, and look what a great party we're having. As the 15th Doctor said, there's a great big universe out there calling, and we've got to get going because this season finale really will take us the long way round. And it is written by, of course, approved fan Beth Axford.
I'm exhausted. That sounds awful, doesn't it?
It really does. I don't believe for a second that a writer is on business in London and is in a hotel room, and he has to use the hotel writing pad. I don't believe he doesn't have any writing material, electronic or otherwise, for starters. So call bullshit on that one. But they filmed this over a year ago. I don't believe they were filming it. They were finishing it last minute. Nobody takes that long. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit to try and increase the hype, I think.
I'm just prepared
for the worst.
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys sat through the Timeless Children nonsense. I think here comes RTD, hold my pint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think he's about to do something even more ridiculous. Everybody.
Yeah.
Ultimately, nothing he writes is relevant.
Yeah, I've got a few sort of just my own sort of fees in my own head. Nothing to do with mentions in time, I have to say. But it is kind of crazy, all the stuff bringing Susan back. I think they're really going to ruin Susan, I think, in some way, shape or form. They've even talked about they're going to explain the relationship between the Rani and the Doctor. And someone said somewhere that she could be the Doctor's sister. Have they not done that already with the Master being the Doctor's brother speculation, all that? I don't want to know. It's Doctor Who.
Not anymore. Not anymore, though, is it? I mean, I'm expecting the Rani to be the Doctor's sister. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I'm expecting. I'm expecting some revelation.
All this
family.
All this referencing the classic series and mining it for content. This is the person that said you don't need any of that.
That's it. I knew you'd like that bit.
Yeah. I reckon Susan as well is going to be the villain. She's coming back for revenge after Dalek Invaders of Earth. It's like, really? That's just if that's going to happen. You know, she's the baddie. She is the boss that Meek talked about originally back in the specials. You know, it's like, I bet that's who she is. You know,
it could well be. It could well be. Yeah. Jacob RM. A lot of you in the chat not looking forward to this. Jacob RM saying sounds very fan fiction. Throw the whole kitchen sink in and then some and see what sticks. I totally agree with that. That's what he's looking up. We've also got here from Craig Dunlop. It's always a wild ride with RTD, except it always isn't. And reviews, rants, and religions joining us, summed up in 3 words: complete effing shite.
Yeah.
We'll soon know for sure, but it doesn't look good, does it?
No.
Timkins, oh God, is the Rani a future incarnation of Susan after going bad? It could also be that. Yeah. It's like I was trying to say to Michael, who joins us occasionally from Australia. I was saying to Michael, everything is now on the table. Nothing is ridiculous. The more extreme and stupid the suggestion, the more it's in the show.
It's, as I said before, it's fan fiction. It really is.
Yeah,
it's awful fan fiction. You know, it's the kind of stuff you saw, and no offense to some fanzines, but really, really badly written fanzines. You know, it's just sounds appalling. It really does. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about it, and I'm going to have to think of some while I'm watching this utter nonsense, because we're going to be back on Sunday Night Live here on the channel at 8 o'clock with our review of Wish World. What wishes have you got, everybody?
Craig cancellation.
Dunlop, yeah, which fan of Belinda is a favourite of? Matthew Burrows saying to us, deluded or what? And Dom go, I can't wait till Sunday morning in the news of the massive ratings dive. Don't forget, we will be reporting them on our Facebook page and on our Instagram pages. And then we were talking about it, of course.
Well, they'll be available for that coming next week, because you'll be playing with these Ncuti and Millie dolls, won't you? I'd imagine.
They'll be there. They'll be there. We've also got this. What fresh audience is that then, says Paul Schlufter. I reckon all this sort of stuff must have been done months ago now, when it's so arrogant that they're not actually registering the fact they don't have an audience. As Fan 01ish is saying to us, there are no fresh audiences. RTD thinks this is grand opus, says Dalek Lives Matter. Yeah.
It's with that audience, it's very akin, I think, to the dying days of the world of a certain mustached German in 1945.
You mean Charlie Chaplin? Yes.
Yeah. where he was surrounded by his generals and he was giving orders to move armies that no longer existed, that had all been wiped out. And RTD is very much like this, is delusional to the point of he's still talking about this massive audience that, to be fair, since he came back, he never had, because Chibnall never had it to hand on. So there is no massive audience, new or otherwise, and he's as delusional as that mental German bloke, frankly.
Yeah.
And yes, he probably will be.
Yeah.
Not if I can help it, Gav B, that's for sure. Yeah.
Richard Brooks saying to us, last minute script writing seldom has quality results. And Sheila being the devotion saying, well done getting through that, JT. It was difficult. It was difficult because it's just, I can't stand propaganda, and that's all this is.
I will have to watch Unleashed, though, to probably understand what was going on, though. That'll probably tie in with that. Yeah.
Heretic is saying to us, Poppy won't just be his child in Wish World, his child full stop, or is the Doctor from Timeless Child? Now, that's the other one, Heretic, where I thought, right, if Poppy is his child, is it Susan's mum?
Yeah.
This is the nonsense now that will come out of all this, honestly, because as Matthew Burrows is saying, he's going to destroy it even more than the Timeless Child. He's going to double down just so that he can annoy us all. Really,
it's so convoluted and contrived, isn't it? That's the thing. It's just,
yeah. And I genuinely believe that he's doing it deliberately.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah,
just to get it over.
For someone who isn't, looking at the forums or looking at YouTube videos or whatever, he's obviously really been hurt by this, and he's trying to get his own back, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Imagine though that you must be so thin-skinned that you want to spend 100 million of somebody else's money and the other money that's been put in just to forward your agenda and then destroy it when it's not accepted. It's so pathetic. It's beyond words.
Lovely point here from Marlon Arancibia. I hope I've said that right. Apologies if I haven't. Arancibia. It's good to see you, Marlon. Welcome to Who's Views. The Doctor dancing at a club and perving on Isaac Newton. The same cozy old show. Exactly. It's not at all, is it, Marlon? That's what, for those that were asking before, that's the other thing that gets me. The Doctor is not queer. He's a bloody alien. Yeah. He's a Time Lord from Gallifrey. Act it. Nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Two of you mentioning here, Bill Lowry, wasn't Omega proposed as the big bad? And Gary Hewitt, Reality War involves Omega. Does it? Question mark. Anything is possible, and yes, it possibly could. So I'm hearing.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of possibilities, isn't there? They're all coming true, though. We've been saying different names for a while, so I wonder. It's like Omega. It's like just mention a name and see what happens. It's random. Exactly. So random.
Exactly. Andy Radart, nice to see you. Thank you for your super chat, Jangling Keys. Honestly, I am not looking forward to this tomorrow at all. I'm really not. No. Ooh, I'm really not. Although I am looking forward to seeing Archie Punjabi and Mel, Bonnie Langford. That's the only two great actresses in this nonsense. Marie UK, you can get some great fan fiction by wannabe writers, some of whom would be much better script writers than this. I'm not going to argue.
No.
Yep.
Not going to argue. They are out there. RTD is fiddling while Rome burns, says John Roberts, and he's loving every minute of it because he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. They should never have given him the keys back to the show, should they?
No.
Lots of you in the chat. Thank you very much. Another one from Lex here. Thank you, mate. This is the end. Goodbye, Doctor Who, for now. Matthew Burrows is saying it could be Razalom. Well, they've done that one already, haven't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they spent all the money getting Timothy Dalton back. You never know.
Yeah. Now, we've spoken about this before. Garbage was saying the White Guardian was mentioned a few months ago. I think you might mean the Black Guardian, or Paul, as he was renamed.
The Guardian of Chaos. Yeah.
It could be him, in which case he's probably going to be mincing about.
Yeah.
And not the threat that we know him to be.
But there's a possibility as well that the Valyard or a version of Shooty of the Valyard will be the villain. Who knows, But
could be.
No, it won't be a version of
Shooty. So far, haven't they? Let's be honest. So.
The villain is never going to be a black guy, is it? Not without a redemption arc, like in the Psalm.
Yeah.
Well, the reason
unless Tennant could be the baddie, couldn't he? There we are.
we keep saying, where is Tennant?
Yeah. Down the back of the sofa somewhere. Yeah. So.
I might not be looking forward to this. I can't speak on your behalf in the chat or anybody else, but I know one person that is, and of course it is RTD, who today on his Instagram did this. RTD, Conrad's back, but how? Welcome to the Wish World on May the 24th. But why is everyone celebrating that date? What is the Rani's greatest experiment yet? Who are the Seekers and the Bone Beasts and the mysterious woman on the Doctor's doorstep? And why does a message come from across the stars saying tables don't do that? First part of a 2-part finale, and the stakes are higher than ever. I've heard that so many times now, I'm sick of it. In Doctor Who Wish World from 8 a.m. on the BBC iPlayer and Disney Plus worldwide, then BBC One tomorrow night, followed by an epic pull, Doctor Who Unleashed. Now, that picture of him there, that's on the redressed set of Unit, which is still Unit, but it stands for something else in the alternative world. In the
It's an insurance firm or something, isn't it?
It's something like that. Yeah.
That reference about tables don't do that. I bet you a tenner that it never gets explained why they don't do that. Yeah, so.
There it is again there on the right hand side, where the Unit characters are all working in what looks like a 1950s inspired set. We showed these pictures on Wednesday, but here they are again. And of course, the big one that got fandom talking the other day was this picture of the Rani holding a baby.
There's more speculation that she delivers the baby in the church on Ruby Road. That figure, hooded figure, is potentially Rani. Could be anybody, could be anybody. But
as usual, earlier this week, I went down to my local Tesco to grab a coffee and to look at all the TV listings magazines just for you lot, because I know a lot of you outside the UK actually enjoy looking at our TV listings magazines with us. You're going to be disappointed. And I was stunned, everybody, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, because there was hardly any coverage at all in the TV listings magazines this week. Now, I blame this, guys, again on this, we must keep this secret because they assume people are going to care and watch it. Honestly, because there was nothing. What we got was this from TV Times. Now, this was the first time in the series that it didn't make their What to Watch top 10. It got a Saturday highlight, as you can see. That's it. And it's the picture with Bonnie, because Bonnie sells.
Did they get 4 stars at the bottom there?
Yes. 4 out of 5 stars for Wish World tomorrow. It's the start of a thrilling 2-part season finale, which begins with an adventure called Wish World. The second installment, The Reality War, will be shown on the 31st of May, but anticipation surrounding it is so high that it will not be available on iPlayer as usual, early on iPlayer. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother reading the rest. It's there for you. Okay, so we had that one. That's the TV Times. This was what's on TV. Now, Doctor Who does cram into its hot TV this week. As you can see, top right there, I've also put it's a teeny weeny bit this week, guys. It's the start of a thrilling 2-part season finale, which begins with an adventure called Wish World. The second episode, The Reality War, will be shown on Saturday, the 31st of May. The Doctor faces a terrifying battle while Belinda is lost and Ruby is trapped. Will the Doctor manage to save the day?
No.
All the same stuff. All the same stuff. Then we move to this. What's on TV? Saturday pick of the day. Very small bit there. There's Belinda on the phone.
Bitch face.
Nice phone.
She's definitely got a resting bitch face again, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And then the last magazine to cover it, out of all the TV listings magazines, it says a lot. Maybe they're all waiting for next week's finale and it's going to have the covers to everything and it's going to be this and that. Make sure you're staying with us. Make sure you subscribe and come back and see us, not just on Sunday and not just on Wednesday, but next week as well, because we're going to be covering it. Will they do this? Will it be on all the covers next week, this finale for the Reality War? But the last one to cover it, Wish World, this week was the Radio Times. And all it got was this. Can you see it there?
Oh, wow.
On the bottom left-hand corner. It's fair to say that fan reaction to last year's 2-part Doctor Who finale felt mixed. The consensus was part 1, wow. Part 2, huh? So the hope for 2025 will be that the season-long arc concerning the fate of Earth will have a more satisfactory conclusion than the one about Ruby's parentage.
That's optimistic.
Mind you, should it all go disastrously wrong, we might not even be here to pick at any proverbial plot holes, as the planet on which we live is scheduled for destruction on 24th of May. Already, we've witnessed our fair share of surprises, Joe Martin, Carol Ann Ford, plus that recent whopper of a cliffhanger, the Rani. And tonight's the shocks certainly keep coming. I don't want to be shocked in Doctor Who.
No.
Anybody else? I really don't want to be worried about them rearranging things a la Timeless Children and stuff again. I don't want that unless it's resetting it all, which it's not going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to say that Rani's the Doctor's sister or something stupid, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we'll be here moaning about it. Here is the other aspect of the Radio Times, of course. That's it. 7:25 to 8:10 on BBC One. Look at the cast list. Do you see the Rani?
I see Ruby's family's in there, so that's going to be more kitchen sink drama, isn't it?
Susan Triad's there, isn't she? Yeah.
No Archie.
No Archie, yeah.
And again, it's because they were terrified somebody would leak it from last week. These things have all gone out at the same time.
Because she's in the clip, isn't she? So she's definitely in it. So
yeah. This, this is so arrogant. They are so assumptive. Oh, this thing was going to be huge. Oh, we can't give away all that. We can't do too many pictures. We can't. Nobody cares. Nobody cared because it's going to be. I can't wait to see the overnights on Sunday when this thing comes out because I reckon it's going to go down from last week.
That's what I said.
Do. Yeah. Well, I do, and the fact that they're all so blooming arrogant about this.
Yeah.
Who is Archie? I've forgotten. Archie Panjabi's playing the Rani now. That's her real name. She's a cracking actress. Probably going to be wasted in this, but that's who she is. And I'm just. They didn't give. Remember, I was saying on Wednesday. Last week. I was expecting some sort of articles to explain who the Rani was. That also now gets me worried because they haven't done that.
They've done it on the YouTube channel. There's lots of clips of Kate O'Mara being Kate O'Mara beautifully on the Doctor Who YouTube page. So,
yeah, but I don't think they've put it in there because if they have rearranged the Rani's relationship with the Doctor, do you know what I'm saying? They would have to explain that in the history of the character for any newbies coming into the show.
Well, maybe we'll get a flashback when Mel meets the Rani again, and they'll show a few clips of her dressed as Mel. Explain that. That'll be worth every penny, I'm sure. Yeah.
When the much maligned Pip and Jane Baker, and very publicly maligned by a very teenage twat of a Chibnall, in my opinion. When they invented the character of the Rani, they would never in a million years have done it with the concept of her being related to the Doctor.
No.
Because they would have known that was naff.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have done it. And JNT wouldn't have gone with it. You know, he canned the Doctor's line, didn't it? The Master's line with the Doctor, didn't he?
Yes.
And everything. You wouldn't do this to your own, just leaving it hanging. Because that's all it needed to be. Just leave it hanging. Who knows? Whereas RTD just has to keep laying it on thick. But, you know, for all that Pip and Jane Baker were slagged off by RTD's mate, they would never have done something as naff as that.
No.
They wouldn't have done. So place your bets now, everybody, that the Rani is going to turn out to be the Doctor's sister or brother, or depending which incarnation she's in. It's all going to get humanized. Susan is going to turn out to be a waste of time. God bless Caroline Ford. We love you. Looking forward to seeing her as well in the show. It's been a long time. I'm just not looking forward to actually seeing the episode. I think it's going to be awful. But time will tell.
I think you'll get a reprise from last week, JT, so you'll get to see the little bits you missed, probably.
I'm
I'd
really
imagine.
not bothered, Paul, to be honest.
I know you are.
Try not to be too excited.
I saw something somewhere. It might have been on this platform, but the TARDIS doors blow inwards.
Yeah, that looked a really crappy effect, I have to say.
It did, didn't it? Yeah. And then they cut to the theme tune and then immediately stopped the theme tune and cut back to where they brought the Rani back from hanging around in space and she regenerated. And then they cut to the theme tune again. It was butchered.
They'll no doubt have that in the episode, either at the start as a kind of previously on Doctor Who type moment, or it'll be a flashback in the episode itself, no doubt, or next week's one. Next again week's, the last one, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to say, everybody. I really don't know what to say. It's just all... I don't know what to say. I'm really not into this and I'm not looking forward to it at all. Doctor Who fan 001. So John Smith is married to a woman and they have a baby even though he is gay. See how tiring the whole bloody thing is.
Yeah.
Julianne saying bank holiday weekend. Let's all go to the seaside. Numbers will be down again. Marine Boy 1966. Britain's Got Talent final next week too, so its ratings are going to go even further down the lavvy. That's a good word, that the lavvy.
Is that for the second episode, Reality War? Is that when it's the BGT
Reality War's
final?
next week? Yeah, the final episode. The final episode.
And that's when the BGT final is as well.
Yeah.
That's not
that's going to have a knock-on effect to ratings as well. Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to sting.
Somebody was saying there that Pip and Jane Baker. Here it is. Duncan. Of course it is. Tells us the Rani was the school friend. It was established that the Rani, the Doctor, and the Master went to the academy together.
Yes.
Hence why there was certain people wanted a spin-off show with the three of them, and RTD said no, you can't go that far because that destroys the illusion. And here we are now. God knows what's going to come next. But they all went there. Fanatic. It's not about getting back at the fans. It's a retirement plan for his old age. Well, I hope he doesn't get anything. He is old, though. He's 60-something, isn't he?
There's a reference in Mark and the Rani. The Master and the Rani have a conversation. I love Mark and the Rani as well. And there's a bit in that where they have a conversation about her turning mice into monsters.
That's right.
Eating the president's cat.
Yes.
I hope they don't explore that experiment. I bet they do.
I'm hoping that he's forgotten it,
Giant mice. That'll be a little crap. Yeah. So
one thing he has said is that the Rani, because nobody really knows who the Rani is, i.e. the Notwees as well as a lot of the new fans, and because there's still a lot of mystery to her, the character can go anywhere basically, and he can do what he wants with her.
No, you can't. That's the whole point. Yeah.
We'd probably be looking again at that particular part of his interview on Sunday. So come back and join us, because I'm probably going to need you all, because I might be crying.
I am growing to really detest that man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm there already, mate. I tell you, Legion of James. Good to see you. Hope work went all right. I'm gutted Carol Ann Ford is doing this. It does seem to me as well that Carol Ann Ford was an addition to this, because he only asked her about, do you want to come back at the Starbeast premiere in 2023?
Yeah.
And the series is half done.
Yeah.
It
all feels awfully tacked on, doesn't it? Shoehorned in.
It does. And
she needs to blink twice if she needs help getting out. It's like
Yeah. But she's probably got Stockholm syndrome, hasn't she? To be honest, that's the problem.
Very probably.
Yeah.
George is saying, what's with this time lady stuff? Well, in the original series, George, she was a time lady. There we go. And
she should just be a female presenting Time Lord now, if we're going by the same vernacular.
Killbot Kill. I'd rather watch a 45-minute cut of Dugadoo. Well, luckily for you, you can do apparently on their YouTube page.
It's on a loop on YouTube. Yeah.
And what's this? Inspector number 23. Good to see it. Poppy will be a fictional child in a story idea stolen from WandaVision that was itself stolen from Donna's children in Forest of the Dead. Now, I have to say, Inspector 20, as somebody who hasn't watched WandaVision but was aware of it, I was saying to Kirsty earlier on today, I'm doing all the research for this show and I'm reading bits and pieces, and that's what got me. I reckon RTD saw WandaVision and blatantly, allegedly, was influenced, or was what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember the words I'm looking for now, but he was influenced to write the show. Based on what he'd seen on WandaVision.
I have to say,
I think Paul was right then. He was persuaded to plagiarize. Yeah, I think
I watched WandaVision. I have to say, I was hugely disappointed with it. Had a lot of potential. I thought it was really awful, honestly. Yeah.
It's not the words I was looking for, but I can't remember what it was. Whoopie Doodle Do. It's Scott Andrew Brass is saying, well, I've personally enjoyed all of Gatwa's run, but then again, I recently had a large section of my brain removed.
There's a lot of that about.
I didn't read the second bit first. I should have done.
Well, there we go. What can we say?
Apart from good luck, everyone.
Wishful tomorrow,
everybody.
We will be back on Sunday with our review, which I've got the feeling is going to be very interesting and very hard work. Really not looking forward to this. I can't emphasize that enough. I think it's going to be absolutely dire. Will I be wrong? Probably not. So come back and join us on 8 o'clock live here on the channel on Sunday for our review of Wish World. I know what I was wishing. The sooner this stuff is over, we've got two more episodes to come, everybody, and then we can get back to doing Doctor Who. Third Doctor Ian, Paul, thank you as ever for joining me for this particular show. Listen, thank you so much for joining me in the chat as well. You great conversation from everybody. Really, really do appreciate it. Everybody, fantastic. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, please come and join us. Please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up on the likes as well. And if you've already subscribed to the channel, don't forget, go make sure you're still subscribed. Oh, God. Can't wait to see you all. Come and cheer me up on Sunday because I'm going to need it. I might be crying tomorrow. We'll see you on Sunday, everybody. From Paul, from Ian, and myself. Ta-ra. Have a good weekend. See you Sunday.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Shoot you, Gatwa.